Hail, clubbers! Welcome everyone to CLOBBY'S Clubhouse for St. Patty's Day, March 17th, 2020. We indeed, as always, yeah, that was an unexpected folks. Totally unscripted, I promise. And I'm hearing strange things in the sound in the background, folks. It's ignore it because I don't know what it is.
Claude is
Strange.
passionate about his mic.
If you knew which mic I was passionate about.
Yuck. Welcome everyone for hello, and our good buddy Mark D with a C is indisposed again for the evening. We will have him back as soon as as soon as he's able to be here. But I want to thank my wonderful first officer, RM Briggs, for being here tonight. Thank you so much.
Good evening, Captain. It is so good to see you. Where the heck did Claude go? Oh, he's back.
Yeah.
He's having some technical difficulties. Let's not lose him. Stay with us, Claude.
I'm fiddling with knobs and throwing switches and such.
Okay.
Sitting in for Mark D, our chief engineer, is some weirdo named Claude. I'm not Avon. I don't know who it is, but don't worry. You'll probably fall asleep in the first 20 minutes.
I'm not Mark D, but I do have a C in my name.
And that's all that really matters when it comes down to it. Good to see you, my friends. Thank you all for being here. Let me say some hellos to friends in the chat tonight. The great Lord Officer Avon lives. Long live the Legion, bro.
LT!
And by the way,
Mrs. LT!
And Mrs. LT. Hello. Hail, Mrs. LT. J-Man has 2 more episodes to go, so we won't be doing any spoilering about Blake 7 yet. We will hold our spoilering until we get our big Blake 7 roundtable show that we do. Whatever.
It's very hard to hold it in. I'm trying not to be selfish. I want to spill my guts. I'm just going to hold it in. And also, I need to tell you all that there's this really cool guy named J-Man.
J-Man.
Is a bona fide geek. He is so fun to hang out with and is just such a gentleman and a sweetheart of a dude. Can you go find him, please, and join his channel and follow it and hit the notification bell, because he is such good people. He hangs around with this guy named Decepticon, and the pair of them are just 2 of the coolest cats you will ever meet. So go follow him.
I'm putting a link.
What Valiant Renegade did.
I'm putting a link in the description. My eyes are not on the screen. Oh, here we go. There we go. By the way, there's a link to J-Man's page. Everyone's a great friend. They're linked to many great channels. Let's see. Hey, Valiant Renegade. Dude, what's up? Happy St. Patty's Day to you, my friend. I hope you're having a great time over there. Whatever you're doing to celebrate it. I really appreciate it. Everyone, of course, anyone here does not know, I got to find that link, but he has a great channel himself, and he is a great Valiant Renegade channel is a great pal to CLOBBERIN Times, and so I'm always honored when you pop in there, and thank you for that very generous super chat, buddy. You are too kind. Thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you for supporting this channel and
I
this
appreciate
show.
you, buddy.
And that was generous and kind of you. So happy St. Pat's. Thank you for using 2 T's instead of 2 D's. As the resident Indigenous ethnic Irish person, I'm very happy to see you putting Pats. Very, very nice. Thank you very much.
Indeedishness, indeed. Thank you so much, buddy. I really appreciate you, Valiant. Hope you're doing well, man. Hope you and the family are doing well out there. Again, the great J-Man, as you said. Phantom Outsider, what's up, buddy? Yay. Let's see here. Comic Relief Crusader. Hello, my friend. Good to see you.
Evening.
Thanks for being here. Evening. Let's see. Pop Culture Republic. Hello there. Good to see you, sir. The great Chris Persia.
I'm blowing you bazillions of kisses. It is so good to see you. Thank you for stopping in. And guess who just walked through the door?
Snail Messiah's here.
Tom's here.
Wow. Tom from Midnight's Edge. What's up, Tom?
Mead.
What is going on? What with your bad self, buddy? How you been? Good to see you there. Kal-El, our great friend Kal-El is here.
The real soup.
A real Superman there, and Louise X Sparrow is here.
Oh, good evening.
Good to see Randolph Scott is here too, apparently with us now.
I haven't seen Louise since Pegasus Actual Podcast. It is very good to see you.
Absolutely. Love to see you there, Louise. Lovely to see you there. Let's see here. Hey, Pat S. What's up, brother?
Hey, Pat S.
He says, I know you're not a fan of shrimp, but what about shrimp? I'm sorry. I'm a Curly guy, like any other rational Stooge fan. Curly's the man, and Ship is just a backup quarterback.
There are rational Stooge fans? Where?
Well, yes, right here, the Three Stooges are
Dun, dun,
life.
dun, dun.
Are life. They're life affirming. Well, it's good to see you there, VR. Appreciate you, man. Thank you again so much. And Tom, which one of you? Now, wait a minute. Which is stalking which? Tom stalking VR, VR stalking Tom. We inquiring minds. We want to know these things.
Hope you had a Guinness wherever
I'm
you
not touching
are.
you. I'm not touching you. Someone's an MST3K fan and quota right there. Like the old, does this bug you? Does this bug you? I'm not touching you. Oh, my goodness. Well, here on the Clubhouse,
Valiant Renegade, you shouldn't have done that. You know
What
what?
do you
You
do?
asked for it. Shame on you.
That's it, Tom. One bottle of Jergens, a dirty picture now. Well, you're both a couple of devilishly handsome chaps, so who wouldn't really, eh? Yeah, we're only human after all. Damn it, this every time I go on, it has to creep up. I mean, rumble. Oh, a bit of a correction from last night, folks, when I was ranting and raving. I thought I toned it down. I thought I showed great restraint last night with my rant and rave about the crap that was going on with the JLA Avengers trade paperback. For those who don't know, of course, the legendary comic book artist George Perez is well, he doesn't have a lot of time left. Talked about it a little bit this last night. We've had him on. We've had some shows where not him on, but we've had some shows we were talking about him recently on CLOBBY'S Clubhouse. Mm-hmm. In order to give him a bit of a tribute and in conjunction and to raise some money for a great cause. Hello there, Lee Anthony Davis. The the Hero Initiative, which was started by the Jack Kirby's family, his granddaughter and their family. Yeah. And they're big proponents of it, let's just say, and they're big backers of it, which is a wonderful cause that helps out comic book creators, former comic book creators from the early, from any of the ones that are left behind, that were kind of left behind by the industry that aren't doing all that well. And so George Perez and Kurt Busiek's JLA Avengers crossover of the early 2000s. Had been reprinted in a hardcover and stuff, but for the longest time it has been out of print. So, because unfortunately George does not have a lot of time left. For those who don't know, he's announced that he is suffering from terminal cancer. He's out of the hospice right now. He's just with his family, spending some time. They've decided to rush into print 7,000 copies or so of the JLA Avengers crossover in trade paperback form with a $29.99 cover price. They announced it a couple of weeks ago. It just came out a couple of days ago. Comic shops were all allotted like 2 per shop or whatever, something like that. Perez, there's some pictures that I can show you later where Perez got his copy, which is very nice. He was very pleased. There's some very touching pictures of him. He's got the book, as does the author, Kurt Busiek, and a lot of comic shops. Well, you can't touch the thing for about anything less. It's all over eBay for $400 and $500 and $600 or whatever. Which anyone doing that is taking this thing that they got for a normal price and the few that were allocated to them and doing that is despicable, which I was talking about last night. Now, again, Buddy Saunders, who's a good man who runs mycomicshop.com from Lone Star Comics, they were allotted 12 copies, and they are auctioning them off for like $500 something bucks. But all the proceeds are going to the Hero Initiative, so that I'm fine with.
That's how you handle it.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
But a lot of eBay jackasses and eBay dickheads are putting it on there because somehow they're either comic shops with no conscience, or they have one of their buddies who run a comic shop was able to snag them a copy for 30 something bucks, and then are putting them on again. I don't know, $500, $600, what have you. And some of them are even lying, saying the proceeds are going to go to charity. What do you mean charity? It should say the it should say the Hero Initiative. And the George Perez website, as Minimus and I were talking about today, he's Minimus. He's got all these different names, but he's Minimus to me. Claude here's Minimus. And when we're doing a show, just automatically I just think of him as Minimus for some reason. He has said the George Perez website, and see if you can remind me of that. They said they don't know any of this. They said they don't know of any of these people who are actually giving this money to charity, right?
Right. It was insidious from day one. A guy posted he had a stack of like 8 or 9 of them, and he said $250 each plus shipping. Now, if you paid $30 or you got a little discount and you paid that much for it, pay for the shipping. We know it's a scam. We know it's some kind of a ruse, and you're not really going to do what you say you're going to do. 1 or 2 places actually did. I think it was Mid City Comics. Was that in New York?
New York.
They did it, and they're donating it to a cancer charity, which is right. I mean,
that's fine.
I'm sure George
it should
has
go
no
to the
problem with
Hero
that.
Initiative, really, but that's fine.
It should, but it's pancreatic cancer. I had 2 brothers that died from that, and just in the last couple of years. But it's Hero Initiative. I understand because it's George Perez. I got 2 drawings from him whenever he was at Dragon Con that I was there, and he's sitting at a table drawing these little 8x10 pictures. And I know you don't want to hear a story. It's going to be over before you know it, though.
Well, go ahead.
Anyway, I didn't notice what the booth he was. It was Hero Initiative. He was drawing. Get this, 8x10 sketches of whoever you said a headshot for $20. George Perez, $20, and all the money that he got went to the Hero Initiative.
Well, and that's the way it should be.
That's the way it should be, yeah.
The bottom line is that people are talking like he's already dead. He's not already dead. No. People just need to slow their roll and stop, exploiting this happening to him. If you really love George, you'll do what I did a month ago. His whole family is on Twitter. This is before I quit Twitter. I quit Twitter a few weeks back because I just can't stand it. But his whole family's on there, and you can interact with him there, and you can tell him how much you love him. And how much his work has meant to you, and how much you care for him, and you can send him and his family all the love in the world, and you can honor his wishes and you can honor his legacy when that time comes. But this is really just exploiting people's emotions and opportunists who aren't even aware that George is still alive. Now, George, I've lost people to pancreatic cancer as well, and George is not having an easy go of it. And so this is not the right thing to do, and it's not the right time to do it. I think these people, no one should buy anything from them, and and the money should go to the Hero Initiative.
It should, but
that's what he wants, and he's alive. And if you really feel passionately about him, why don't you go do what I did? Go tell him that. Go tell him while he's alive. It's just I just don't like it. It's very dirty. It's very slimy. It's not the right thing to do.
Yeah, it's rotten. And this, of course, there you go. George got to he got a copy. He got his copy, and he got to see that. So that's very, touching. That at least that, and that's why they rushed it out. They were only able to get about 7,000 out. Update today is that there's at least because this has been out of print for a while. Hello there, Maester. It's good to see you there.
Mazer, it's so good to see you, my sweet friend.
They're going, and JD Lewis, good to see you there, buddy. They're going to be doing a proper hardcover again. It's going to be back around October. They're going to have one out. So that's all I wanted. I hate they're going to do an omnibus. I would like to have gotten this, but I just want to get a nice book of it somehow. And I was hoping that they weren't just going to do this and let those go through the roof and then never do another nice reprinting of it again. That was what concerned me a little bit. I don't mind waiting. It's fine.
Yeah.
So it's an omnibus, but it's just pretty shitty, these people, because a lot of them are even putting on AB. Oh, this is going to go to charity. Yeah, don't order. So just paying, even if you're willing to spend the kind of money out there to, if you got that kind of money, you want to buy this thing, don't buy it on eBay from some jackass. Find out where the money's going first.
Yes.
If you want to spend $500 because you want to give it to charity, the Hero Initiative is a fine charity.
Okay,
And
Claudia, I'm just going to get you to say that again because some people may have stepped away from the podcast. Some
What?
people may have stepped away from their phone. I just want you to repeat that. Like, if you want to honor George Perez, it's a good idea to stay away from these people who are exploiting this as an opportunity to inflate prices and make money off of his legacy. So if you could just say that again, Claudia, I'd be really happy if you could say, stay away from the jack bums, that little spiel. Say that again for us.
Well, just I mean, they're auctioning some off with Buddy Saunders is auctioning them off. I don't know what he's exactly getting for them, but that's comicbookshop.com or mycomicshop.com. He's a good dude, and he'll give it all to Hero Initiative for sure. But if you go to one of these eBay sellers, just vet them if you want. If you don't mind, pay. If you got the scratch to pay $400 or $500 for that thing, and you get one because it's a cool thing to have. They're only 7,000 of them. It's great. And you want to help, Perez, at least just vet whoever it is and make sure you can trust where the money's going, if you would. That's all. I mean, if it's some other counselor like, other charity like Claude was talking about, like Minimus was talking about, that's fine too, as long as if you can make sure it's going there, or if it's
Verify
somebody
it.
that it's going to the Hero Initiative, that's just do that. So, but yeah, it's just. Because this is disgusting. I don't necessarily agree with that, Lord Doth. I don't think comic shop owners should be doing that crap. This is just, there's no honor in it. I mean, even if you own the comic shop and you got your 2 allotted ones and you put them for a few $100 online, look, that's not what this comic was published for, or this book was published for.
Yeah, I mean, first it's exploiting this incredibly awful situation with this gifted person, and second of all, I'm a nerd. I'm an academic. I'm just learning about the geek world. But one thing I do know is that these kind of shenanigans, aside of what's happening with the great George Perez, this is what helped to shut down the comic book industry. When kids were no longer reading them, and guys in suits would walk into your local comic book store, they'd load up on this stuff, and they wouldn't even crack it. They wouldn't even open it. And that's not what we're about here. We're about sharing those stories. We're about strong story writing and gifted craftspersons creating wonderful works of art, and about enjoying them. Talking about the stories, talking about the artwork, talking about the concepts. It's not about greedily sucking things up into your little parasitic vacuum and then keeping it there so that no one else can see it. So don't allow yourself to get sucked into that parasitic vacuum. You're not doing anything for George, and you're not doing anything for the comic book industry. Have a backbone and do the right thing. You go directly to George and you ask George where he would like the money to go. And George's family will tell you. They're on Twitter. They're very active. They're incredibly kind and generous people. And they are sharing his story. And jacking prices up on eBay doesn't help local comic book shops. Getting your bums in the seats at the comic book shops where they're playing chess, where they're playing checkers, where they're playing games, that's what puts money in the pocket of the comic book shop.
Well, yeah, it's not like they're getting that many to where it's going to make them that a lot of money. It's going to make them a couple of quick bucks, but not that much. Because from what I've heard, and unless you've heard different minimusness, you only get. Each shop is only getting 2 copies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Except for Buddy.
The shop that I use ordered 9. They got 3, and it was
3.
First come, first serve.
Okay, so it's 3. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, and even though I guess you maybe you didn't order it quick enough then, because I know you tried to order it.
I ordered it as soon as I heard about it. I did hear also about a guy who ordered it like right on the dot. And he got a call, and they whoever he ordered it from said, "We're going to refund your money because we don't have it." Because apparently it's like one of those things, like an eBay thing. Like when you're watching the countdown, this guy ordered it as soon as it was available for order. But I'm guessing all 7,000 of them went right away.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's a high print run for some of Marvel and IDW's and DC's trash today, but that's a nothing print run for something like this. Even at $30 a pop.
Speaking of pop, I love what Pop said here. Do you see what Pop Culture said?
Same crap from the early to mid '90s when comics became like a mini stock market. Oh boy. the gimmicky days of the 80s and
Yeah.
90s, especially
Gonna send my
90s.
kids to college on these comic books.
Yeah, that it worked out for him, didn't it? There was
Yeah.
some
I love Phantom
gimmicky
here
crap.
too. Clobby Phantom's got
Actually, people
comic
who
book
do
too.
that kind of thing are evil, and eventually they will get what's coming to them. Well, I sure hope so. I hope a new car. No, sorry. Maybe not.
It's the showcase showdown.
But you
I
know
hope
what?
you marry my ex-wife.
I was just hoping that again because it had been out of print for a while. They had a hardcover a little before, but it'd been a long time, maybe 10 years or more, whatever, and then it just stopped doing it. So now I'm glad that it's going to be back in circulation. I'm glad he got to see it, at least some sort of printing of it with this trade.
Yes.
And I'm glad there's going to be an omnibus. It'll be too expensive for me at first anyway, but I'll wait till it goes down and try to get it. So
Yep.
probably be too expensive. Only 4 issues of that, right?
Yep. I never got number 4. I don't know why. When it came out, I was never able to find number 4. But our friend, Stephen Chure,
yes, he did.
who also missed it, was going through somebody's 50-cent boxes at a comic shop. Not only found number 4, but it was autographed.
Yep. It was autographed by George Perez, right?
Yes.
Busiek and Perez, or just Perez?
He just said it's just George Perez.
Wow.
Let's welcome Dark Shadow Logan.
Dark
guys.
Shadow Logan, what's up, buddy?
Nice to see you. Good to see you.
Good to see you, my friend. 90s, 90s were the worst for speculators, not true collectors. Yeah. Well, I got I fought that fight all through the 80s and 90s with these people who would look. If you were a genuine collector, it's one thing. What I couldn't stand was speckers and speculators, people like that who would try to buy tons of copies. I talked a lot about this last night with some of those things. I think people who would buy 4 or 5 copies of everything.
The last one I remember people going nuts over was the death of Captain America. Remember that Captain America number 25? People who never bought a comic book in their life were cramming into the comic shops, going anywhere that they had it, saying, I need like 10 copies of this. Well, the local shop that we had, fortunately, I was a subscriber. He put stuff away for subscribers first, and he put some more aside. And if somebody came in and needed more than 2, why don't you wait until the weekend, and then we'll see what we have left.
Yep, well, that's the way it usually goes.
Yeah, but then what you're doing is you're altering the culture, and you're doing it in a way that's incredibly damaging for the culture. You know, since I've been hanging around with these geeks, learning about how comics are bona fide source material for these superhero movies, and that's why they're so upset. And hearing about what happened with the comic book industry, I forget who it was. It might have been Decepticon. He's one of the experts that hang around with us, and just a very brilliant person. I believe it was him. Could have been J-Man, or could have even have been Phantom Outsider or Pop Culture Republic. But I remember somebody saying in the chat one night, it was an odd feeling. You walk into the comic book store, and there's a guy standing there in a suit, and he's buying the whole section. And it's just, that's why kids aren't reading it anymore. They sucked all of the fun out of it and turned it into some sort of empty commodity that can't even be enjoyed. And then, and then everybody wonders what happened. And it's just, and only the power of money and corporations and greed can shift that type of art toward such a dark place. It's so sad. When I read that in the chat one night, I was just like, wow, imagine what it would be like to be a young man who loved, or a young woman who loved these stories and just loved comics. And you went over to the area where that comic was shelved and it wasn't there. And there's some guy in a slick, Miami Vice suit standing at the counter buying the whole box. It's BS. And these people should be shamed by the geek community. Shamed.
And it also damaged every time an issue number 1 came out. This is partly Marvel's fault, because Marvel will reboot or restart any comic book at all as long as they get a number 1, because they know it's going to sell. Any idiot can walk into a comic shop and go, wow, Captain Marvel, number 1? I thought I had that already. No, I'm going to buy 2 just in case. And you're looking at, let me see, when was this printed? 2021. So it's not old, but it is a number 1, so I will buy it.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Well, speaking of comics, we may as well do our normal comics segment a little bit early. What do you think? Number one.
It's gonna be so bad. We're on 45, right?
Yeah, we were up, huh?
We're on
45
45,
next.
right, boss?
Right, but we're gonna do, since we're talking about George Perez, we may as well do a recap with that. For those who don't know or are new to the program, every CLOBBY'S Clubhouse, we do what we call the Tripwire 100 top 101 all-time greatest comic book artist list that they're doing on a weekly basis. Now, by the time I ran it, or whoever, I don't know where I got it from, so I ran across it a couple of months back. They already started. They were doing it once a week, and they were down to number 50 or 51, something like that. So I did a stream where I talked about all 100 down to 50, something like that. And now every week since, I've been keeping it up, keeping track of it, commenting on the new installment, the new inductee, you might say. And last week, look, they've already had some great artists who belong in the top 5, top 10, in as low as 50 something this and 60 something that. It's just pathetic.
It wasn't even like a good objective choice. Like,
it was
set aside all your subjectivity.
It's bad.
The world writ large would reject this low ranking. And we should clarify, we don't know the criteria.
Well, they don't say it. They just have someone. They take a lot of things people have said about these artists, and I don't know. Yeah, we don't know who's putting them in this order, and I understand it's all subjective. However, number 46, we're going to do 45, but first we're going to recap number 46 because that one. Every time I think that takes the cake, every time I think they can't get any worse. So far, they managed. And not so much with 45, but with 46, which we covered last week. And we're going to, since we were talking about it, it was actually, what's wrong with this thing? Come on, StreamYard, what are you doing? All right, folks, sorry, I'm having, okay.
Is it acting mental?
I don't know. Could be the mouse.
Okay, well, while you are working it out, I'll address a couple of comments in the chat. Mazerus says, yes, extremism always makes things horrible. Absolutely. I love J.D. Lewis's comment because, yes, this is avarice. This is naked avarice. And then Mazerus says, disclaimer, I don't mean all collectors, just a certain variety in reference to extremism. Yes. And people who aren't bona fide fans. It's when the outsiders, the normies, begin collecting our books, and that hurts nerd culture. And when normies start collecting geek stuff, and that hurts geek culture. It hurts films. It hurts comics. It hurts television. It hurts all those things. Everything we love gets hurt when these corporations and normies turn to naked avarice and try and use us as pawns to gain money. And it sucks. Large.
It does indeed. You know what else sucks? George Perez being at number 46. 46.
Oh my God.
40 freaking 6. He's in. I mean, look, opinions are fine. We lost Minimus again. What happened?
It's the dumbest thing ever that he's at 46. That's not even objectively close to where he should be. I understand all lists are subjective, but objectively, like writ large, there are bigger opinions. There's a collective consensus here, and Perez is not at 46.
46 is stupid. He's in my top 5 probably. Again, I understand. He's a top. He should be in anyone who knows anything about comics. If he's not in your top 10 or at least top 20, I don't know what's wrong with you, but that's fine. You might not like him. Great. But 46, I really want to talk to them. Maybe I don't want to talk to somebody.
No.
Yeah.
I got a great comment start for you from Phantom Outsider.
What?
Phantom Outsider made a great comment. Check your starred tab.
I'm not. My eyes on. Let's see. The criteria seems to be names out of a hat, a very small hat, probably.
Yes.
A thimble.
Great comment, Phantom.
A thimble. All right. And all right. Okay. So look, and Claude, of course, who is a comic book artist in his own right, an artist in his own right, and loves. And I don't know what I know. He likes Perez. I don't know what his favorite. I know his favorite artist is because he'd be dead man if he didn't have the correct favorite artist. But what does Perez rate for you? I mean, I got him like at number 2 or 3.
I would say if I was going to put him in, if I was going to include him with the legends, I would put him at number 5 or 6 because we've got like Steranko, who I consider like a later generation legend, and of course we know the one
Yeah.
you're going to kill me over if I don't say is Jack Kirby. We've got Will Eisner, Gil Kane, uh, Bill Everett. I mean, I can rattle off
They had
names.
Gil Kane at 54 on the list.
That's ridiculous. That's ignorant.
Idiotic.
That is ignorant. That's the definition of ignorant. It
So we're
doesn't mean
building
you're
a consensus here, guys, because, gentlemen, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I want you to know that everything you're saying is being fortified by the chat. Chris Persia is in shock. We've gotten ellipses out of him. He's like, "What?" I've got that comment starred when Claudia wants to share it. And Dark Shadow Logan, he says, George Perez easily cracks most people's top 10 lists. So, you guys, this is what I'm saying. I know lists are
Top
subjective,
tenner. Right? The LT.
right?
Is a Perez a top tenner or what, buddy? He's always busting my ass for giving things a top tenner, but yeah. So yeah.
See this?
So minimusness. You don't. I mean, what,
about something.
you keep dropping out.
I know it's because I got mad.
You got mad at what?
The placement of Perez.
Oh yeah, it sucks. Go for it.
I did say it doesn't. The placement of Perez doesn't mean you're stupid. It just means you're ignorant. You don't know what you're talking about. You shouldn't be rating people that do this kind of thing. We have a mutual friend named Roland Perez who has worked for many years in the comic book industry,
Mm-hmm.
and he told me about one time when he had to ink a page and there were windows on a skyscraper. He had to ink them individually with a pen, and when he was done, his hands were so sore he had to jam them in a bowl of ice to soothe them off. Now, have you seen what George Perez is capable of? Yes, you have. I don't know why the man still has hands. He should have worn them down to the nub years ago, and he did actually. He tripped in Atlanta at Dragon Con, and I think he either sprained or broke both of his wrists, and came back the next year, and I got a black bolt that he drew, and it's terrible, but it's George Perez, and he still signed his name the right way, so that's fine. I wish he didn't have to do that, but
Matthew
he was doing it for Hero Initiative again.
Yeah, no, exactly right. I mean, I forgot where I put him. I know I probably had him at 3 or 4, somewhere up in there. I could, if he's not necessarily your cup of tea and you have him a little bit, that's one thing. But this is like the list that's encompassing all of them. But most people who know comics, who've read comics since the Bronze Age, and if they like superheroes, and granted, I guess if you're not much of a superhero fan, you might not care much. But because he mostly specializes in those, he'd be at least in someone's top 10 or so. But then again, what do you say for a list that it started out pretty bad? They had like Jim Aparo at like 99, which is idiotic. We're down to we're about to give 45. So we're 46 in. They've already had George Perez. I think they've had Wally Wood, dude. They've had Gil Kane. It's moronic.
So low.
It's so ridiculous.
Claudia, you're getting a lot more fortifications here, and so is Claude. JD Lewis has joined in. So is Phantom Outsider.
Well, you know where Gil Kane is for me. Go ahead.
Gil Kane said, when somebody asked him, what do you think of today's comic book artists? Now, remember, this is like back in the day when we were going to con.
80s, yeah.
He said, today the modern comic book artists bring nothing to the table but their knowledge of comic book art. They're not classically trained. They don't know the anatomy. They think everybody bulges everywhere. He said, that's no way to call yourself an artist. You need schooling. You need instruction. And he had it. Kirby had it. Frazetta had it. A lot of these people trained. They went to art schools. And I think New York actually had a school that was nothing but art.
Yes,
it was a high school. And now you have the Joe Kubert School in Dover, New Jersey, which shut down for a while for maintenance or whatever, and they're back up and running again. And it's an accredited school, and you could go there if you wanted to, if you stuck with the curriculum. But kids can go there. I can go there. People who just want to get the feel of an education in art can go there. Now, I went to art school, but it was at Southeastern, so I don't really. Everybody else just take my word for it. 13th grade.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to interrupt really quickly because I want to welcome Cuz.
Dave Rayburn, my cuz. What's up, cuz?
Evening,
Good to see
Cuz.
you there. Great to see you there, buddy. JD Lewis says, along with Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, love him as well. George Perez was the face of DC Comics in the 1980s. This list is such a massive disrespect to George. You know, I can't remember exactly, JD, but I don't think we've seen Lopez yet, so now I'm getting worried.
Yeah.
He's still going to be low. Only way Perez isn't top 10 is if the top 10 spots are all Kirby. Yeah, I'm with you there, Phantom Outsider.
I got to ask Perez at DragonCon one year why Garcia Lopez wasn't on a regular book, and he said because he's too slow. Okay, can you imagine telling Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, "Hey, we're going to need you to finish this up by 5 because we're printing it tomorrow." It's like, and he's there going, "What? I'm drawing Superman's S.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get it right." Or I'm sorry, I'm drawing Superman's S, and I want to get it right. Rich Corinthian leather.
We've always heard, by the way, how
Ricardo Montalban.
Well, we've always heard how Kirby was unbelievable, ridiculously fast. The only guy you ever heard that about, you used to hear that Perez was pretty fast.
Yep.
Considering how good he was. I agree, Pop Culture Republic. You know, this art does not say 46. It says 4 or 6. That's very well said. I like that.
And Captain
yes.
James Skywalker just walked through the door.
Hey,
Everybody,
Captain.
warm welcome to Captain James T. Skywalker.
Good morning, Captain. Good to see you there, man. So anyway, this was 46. It's a joke.
Yeah.
Now on to 40. All right, 45. I can maybe it's a little low. It's not as big a travesty as 46, but he deserves probably a lot better than he's going to be getting from this list. Last week, by the way, 47 was Mike Kaluta, by the way. All right. So 45 is, and this one I'm not angry about or anything. It might be a little low though, because I certainly love this artist, and I know Minimus likes him.
Where's Hungry Boy?
I don't know. We need Hungry Boy for
probably eating.
That 45 is Gene Colan, dude. 45.
Okay,
it's not just no respect; it's no taste.
Take me to school. I want to talk about Gene Colan. I want to know about him. I want to see his work. Let's talk Gene Colan, and celebrate his work.
I love his, especially his Silver and Bronze, especially Bronze Age, one of the greats of the Bronze Age. And as soon as this thing loads up here, their site sucks too. So
he did while Doctor Strange and Tomb of Dracula were running concurrently. He did a crossover. I don't know if he was a regular artist on Doctor Strange, but he did a crossover issue of Doctor Strange that crossed over with Tomb of Dracula.
It's tough for me.
Seamless.
It's tough for me to pick his favorite work. His Iron Man stuff, mainly his Daredevil stuff, his Dracula stuff.
So if Hungry Boy were here, Clobby, tell me what Hungry Boy would be saying to me, because we know that Hungry Boy is a talented comic book artist and author, and he also knows a great deal about fine art. So, you know, one of the reasons why I fell in love with George Perez is just seeing his art, then talking about the fact that everything that I loved about it is the reason why he's so beloved in the comic book industry. So is there something that makes Gene Colan stand out to comic book fans? Is there a niche that he is really good at?
Well, I think for me it would be. I think he's a great storyteller. I loved him on Daredevil when he first started out. You know, wasn't he Adam Austin for a while?
Yeah. He did. He also did Captain Marvel,
Guardians of the Galaxy, and Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
He was hired on like a lot of artists at that time in Silver Age Marvel was to draw like Jack, not necessarily exactly like Jack, but you need to be fast. There's a certain house style that we want. Yeah. We need this house style, and we need you to be quick.
I think he was best known for his romance style of comics.
At that point, yeah.
All right.
But
so romance in comics, that would be defined by color and what else?
I'll give you an example. This guy doesn't even know how to pick the best examples. Whoever put this article together. Although I love his Daredevil work. I love him. He did some good stuff on Captain America, even, but I mean, I think it's Iron Man. There's a
His-
great cover.
Boss man, I need
Yeah.
to interject very quickly. I do beg your pardon, but our friend Trevor Cunningham just walked through the door.
Hello,
Good evening,
Trevor Cunningham. Welcome, Trevor. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. I mean, I don't know. I think he's
Oh.
most famous. What? Go ahead.
We got to meet him too. Remember Dallas Fantasy
Dallas
Fair
Fantasy Fair.
'94.
Oh, his faces
94.
are really good.
His faces, I mean, again, his attention to detail, but I also just like his action sequences as well, especially Iron Man. And I think to me, it's my favorite stuff he did was his Iron Man run, but more importantly, his Daredevil run.
Did he do
His
Captain
faces
America?
are very,
for a brief
very
time?
good. Perez's
Yeah, he did.
faces are really nice as well. I hate it when the comic book artist draws a face so naive that
Yeah.
you can't
See the cap cover?
you can't bond with the character or imagine the character as being real. Whereas Perez's faces are very strong, very beautiful, very accurate.
Wouldn't he be considered a co-creator of the Falcon and Blade?
And Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and I don't know about Marvel, but I think he may be the first Marvel appearance.
He was.
might
Yeah.
have.
He was.
Yeah.
That was Marvel Superheroes. I think it was number
Right.
13.
Where's Hungry
Yeah,
Boy? Hungry
there's
Boy.
Blade. There's Blade. He don't look like Wesley Snipes, does he?
No.
No. And
But
he
He's
did
much
not
cuter
say
than Wesley Snipes, that's for sure.
Sweet Christmas.
Sweet Christmas. He did some stuff on Howard the Duck, of course.
Howard the Duck. Yep.
I like his Howard the Duck stuff.
Some
Trevor was
ridiculous
talking
stories.
about that earlier.
He had a
And-
run on Batman.
Yeah, he did. I think his Batman run coincided with when Gene Day was
Day.
supposed to start it. The last thing Gene Day did was a cover for a detective, I think, and
That's right.
they
Dan Day.
grabbed Gene Colan and said, "Do it."
Yeah.
Mm.
I love Gene Day, so it would have been nice to see what he did with it. But
Yeah.
and if I'd be honest with you, at the time he was been around a while. His Batman wasn't as good to me as his Daredevil, but I was still going, because he also did a Wonder Woman run, which
Yeah.
after when he left Marvel, which wasn't really. I don't know if he was the right fit for Wonder Woman, but
I was going to say he drew a really nice Catwoman
Did
in
he?
Batman.
yeah.
Mm.
He's a very atmospheric artist. One of the most interesting things he did watch, they won't have it on here, is not Night Force, but Nathaniel Dusk.
Yeah,
Mm.
done in
I remember-
pencil.
Yes, not here. I remember talking to our dear buddy Mark C., who's obviously, as we know, an artist, and he'd never seen Nathaniel Dusk. One night we were talking about it on the show, and he wanted to go. I mean, because a lot of people remember that book. This was a comic that was released that was all done in pencil, like you say. It wasn't inked, and it was a black and white. That it was kind of a DC really trying something different, and it was a detective story. And I showed him some stuff from it, and he wanted to go out and get that stuff. He could,
Mm.
He,
Hey, J-Man, take it easy, brother.
the
Oh,
story
you have
is
to leave? Good night, J-Man. And tell
Yeah.
Decepticon that I said hello. I
Yeah,
haven't
buddy.
been feeling well. Otherwise, I would be over on your channel saying hello and hanging out with you two. I just love you two guys. Take care. Please say hello to the ladies for me, and we'll talk to you soon. And thank you for supporting the show and the channel, J-Man. Really
Take it
appreciate
easy,
it.
brother.
the story of Nathaniel Dusk is Doug Minch wanted Gene Colan. And when Gene Colan turned in his penciled pages, he said, "Who are you going to get to ink this? Because I don't want it to look bad." Minch looked at it and said, "Why do we need to ink it? Look at this stuff."
Yeah.
Hungry Boy just walked through
Hungry
the
Boy,
door.
what's up, buddy?
Mwah, 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 mwah. I missed you. I was trying to learn. I need you here.
I'm glad you're
We're
here.
talking Gene Colan.
All right, number 45 on the list, which I think is way too damn low, Hungry Boy, is Gene Colan. I don't know what your thoughts about Gene the Dean are, but what you got?
Okay, Hungry Boy. So Claude has said that his style is romantic, and Clubby was saying that it's atmospheric. And
Especially
so
on
I'm
Tomb of
very
Dracula.
much looking forward to your academic comments on the rendering of these images. And I asked the fellas what brought all this on. What defines Gene Colan? What would you say as an artist is something standout that he does, that he's known for, that or something that you appreciate? I know the anatomy is a huge thing for you. It's also a huge thing for me. So is countenance. The face is very important, and so I trust your opinion. Spill your guts in the chat. I will be reading along.
Yeah. So basically, Hungry Boy, what are your thoughts on Colin? Are you a Colin fan? I don't know. We'll find. I don't know if Minimus knows, but Hungry Boy was in the biz. We just don't know where. I mean, we know sort of where, but he's a mystery man. So, but well, I'm pretty sure he's not Jim Shooter. I'm just kidding.
We're actually totally not sure.
I know he's not Jim Shooter. That he would take that as an insult if he didn't know I was kidding him.
Yeah,
Right?
we have no idea who he is, but he's some comic book artist, and he's very, very talented. And he used to work for a big house, I'm pretty sure.
He's not the ghost of Vince Coletta, is he?
No. Oh, wow, that's really a low blow. Hey, he said that, not me, Hungry Boy.
Whomever he is, don't try and dox him. But whomever he is quite brilliant. Like, you can definitely tell that he's studied photography, film, fine arts. Like, he's a very intelligent person. So I love hearing what he has to say. I've learned so much about comic books and artists and style and influence from Hungry Boy and Clobby and all the rest of you fabulous geeks.
Gives a fella a good feeling to know he's up there doing his job.
Let's see here. He's Don Perlin. Oh, Comic Relief Crusader just called you Don Perlin. Well, what if he is? No, he's kidding.
Co-creator of Moon Knight. So, waiting for the bucks to roll in.
Waiting for the bucks to roll in there. Let's see here.
Hungry Boy, I'm here, Raquel. I know, I'm very excited. I was wondering where you were.
Let's look at some Gene Colan Iron Man art.
Yeah, you were saying, let's look at Iron Man. And didn't Claude say that he also did, who did he?
We'll look at some Nathaniel Dusk, too. We'll look at some of that. Let's see.
Yeah.
Detectives Inc. for Eclipse, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember there was one of the first times I saw him doing Iron Man was it was one way. Was this the other way around? Kirby did the first few pages. No, Gene Colan did the first few pages, then got sick. Then Kirby finished it, or vice versa.
That Whiplash
Iron Man
cover of,
story.
That Whiplash cover of Tales of Suspense is the first thing I remember from him.
Wow.
So this is some.
Let's look at something up close. Hungry Boy says Colin also did a great issue of the 1960s Anger inked by Klein.
The what now?
Anger.
1960.
Anger.
Anger.
Could be Avengers.
Avengers. Oh yeah, I forgot that.
Yeah.
Avengers. Yes, he did some Avengers.
It's hard to type on a phone.
Yeah. This is probably one of the great covers.
Yeah.
That is a great cover. Colin did that cover?
Oh, yeah.
That's a great cover.
I have a shirt of that.
An inker had to be really sure of himself to go over Gene Colan because you had to do it with brushes. I mean, there were some things you could block out with a pen or, just a stiff brush. But he had such delicate pencil lines that anything that you screwed up was very noticeable.
I noticed that to be true when you fellas showed me the Dracula. That Dracula, did you see the cheekbones? Just so beautiful. The face was just excellent.
Yeah. I was told many years ago to get to look. This is when another convention we went to, Dave Sim and Gerhard said, have you ever seen these guys work in black and white before it got colored? And I said, no. He said, look at Jack Kirby, look at Gene Colan, look at, he mentioned specifically Kirby and Colan, look at their work in black and white. And then like 20 years later, Marvel does those Marvel Essentials trade paperbacks with like 20 books in one, all in black and white. The Tomb of Dracula needs no colorist in that form.
No.
Oh, cousin David,
that was a great comment.
that is incredibly kind of you to say. So now I'm going to blow you a kiss, sweetheart. Mwah.
Let's see here. I mean, I think his longest two longest stints on the character were Daredevil and Tomb of Dracula.
Hmm.
Probably, I would have
And
to
you
say.
know how I
wouldn't
feel about Bram Stoker, and you know how many times I've read Bram Stoker's Dracula, and you know he's one of my favorite Irishmen, and I collect vintage copies of Bram Stoker's Dracula. So I just liked seeing a very well wrought Dracula. The Dracula looked amazing, and Hungry Boy is saying Colin was said to have painted with graphite. Oh my goodness! I'm so happy you're here. Brain,
Yeah.
Brain, I love you, Brain.
you?
I got to call him a legend to his face, and he said, "Oh no, I'm not that." And this random kid walks up by me, and I stopped him. I said, "Tell him he's a legend." And the kid just looked at him and said, "You're a legend," and kept walking.
See, we told him 'cause he is one.
Oh my goodness.
But
Oh my goodness. Okay, so now I know what Hungry Boy is referring to because now you're providing the proof of this painted with graphite. Oh my goodness, goodness, goodness.
I agree that who said I agree Palmer was Colin's best inker, and I didn't like Palmer on a lot of stuff. Who didn't? Who said Palmer was no good?
No,
Venomous
he
didn't?
said a nib guy, not a brush guy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I
Oh,
love this. This is
beautiful.
one of my favorite Gene Colan pages right here. This splash page. I mean, look at all. No one could do those movements of Daredevil quite like he could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Spider-Man-
being an accomplished artist, look at these
Hmm?
look at these pencil drawings. These are amazing. It goes to what Claude was saying earlier about like you had to be mighty brave to even go near this work. I mean, look at it in pencil. It's perfect. Don't put any color on that. It'd be terrifying, wouldn't it?
We'll look at some Nathaniel Dusk in a second. J.D. Lewis says, while I hated Jack Abel inking Kurt Swan, I hated Jack Abel pretty much inking anybody, to be honest. I loved Abel inking Gene Colan on Iron Man as Gary Michaels. That's fair enough. I mean, that was earlier, though, I guess, because I couldn't stay. Jack Abel, Jesus Christ, they let him ink Starlin or something. I think they let him ink Jimmy James. I think they let him ink friggin' who else? Starlin or somebody, or Jim Sherman. Oh my God, they let him ruin Sherman on Legion. Holy shit.
Boss man, I have to interrupt.
Dad Man.
because- yes, I just started. Dad man clan is here.
Dad Man Clan. Great to see you, my friend.
So nice
you
to
and-
see you, sweet people.
Yeah. I hope you and the family are doing well, buddy. Good to see you. Thank you for popping in.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jack Abel, look, again, let's be honest. Some inkers. Now, of course, Minimus's favorite inker outside of Vince Coletta was probably always Frank Chiaramonte, but don't quote me on that. No, I'm just kidding.
Strangely enough, the
Now you
second
saw it.
issue of Tomb of Dracula, drawn by Gene Colan, was inked by, drumroll please, Vince Coletta.
Vince, yeah, he inked it, yeah. I know because I just did that issue on the spinner rack machine. I was like, wow, Coletta, really? Wow. Yep.
Third issue was Tom Palmer.
I love that Hungry Boys said that he lived mood while other artists avoided it. What
Yep.
a beautiful thing to say. And I think it takes a lot for Clobby to say things like that someone is very atmospheric, because that means that he felt he feels something in the art, not just in the story. So it's interesting to me that the two fellas that I go to for all of my comic book information are calling Gene Colan mood and atmosphere. So atmospheric and living mood, while other artists avoid it. These are amazing comments. Love you, Clubby. Love you, Hungry Boy. And great comments from Claude too. Let's just keep going.
This brings back memories of a couple of years back when I was having a lot of fun talking about Nathaniel Dusk with our buddy Mark, our late great buddy Mark Steven Sherry. He loved looking at this stuff. He was going to go out and pick it all up because he just loved comic book art. And this, of course, the covers were in color, but the interiors. Did they recolor it later? It looks like somebody did.
Nathaniel Dusk 2
was in color,
colored,
right?
pretty sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's see.
Tell me about Nathaniel Dusk, Claude.
Oh my God. I read it once and then I put it down, but it was written by Doug Minch and
Don
Nathaniel
McGregor,
Dusk.
wasn't it?
Don McGregor, I'm sorry. He modeled Nathaniel Dusk on Robert Culp.
Oh,
And he knew him and he really wanted Robert Culp to play Nathaniel Dusk in a movie, but it
Oh,
never got made.
neat.
This is just an old style detective story
Yep.
but for mid '80s DC comic book, which specialized in superheroes
Yeah.
and so a couple
It
of
was a
toy
departure.
giants to do like an old Raymond Chandler type of
Yeah.
detective story, hard boiled detective story like that was pretty chancy. But I mean, again, a lot of us looked at that's interesting. Wow,
Yeah.
what the
Yeah.
hell? A
And
detective
Yeah.
book.
you get influence from these guys, and sometimes you forget it. I did something that never got published called what was it called? Sherlock Hammer.
Yeah,
And my
it's very
first page was basically the character leaning against the wall in the rain with buildings in the background, and it's London, and he's holding his side where he's been stabbed and he's bleeding out. And I go back and I look at this Nathaniel Dusk drawings, and it's like, oh, that's where I stole it from.
yeah. Well, I mean, it was an interesting book. I only had I don't know if I bought the second series either. Did you?
Yeah, I don't know where. I guess we could search for it in comic bins around the world, but I might have 2 issues.
Yeah. Then he did a book called Silverblade with Gert Swan. Wasn't that wasn't black and white, was it? I don't think so.
No.
He did Night Force. He did Silverblade. He did a lot of stuff at DC. Basically, started out at Atlas in the '50s, went to Marvel throughout the '60s and '70s, and ended up at DC in the '80s. And then, then we saw him and got to see him in 1994. And he was back at Marvel doing some of those stupid Marvel Clive Barker verse comics or whatever, right?
Yeah. He
Hungry Boy.
was also doing illustrations for that, the DC guide and the Marvel guide, the comics that came out every month. He would do
Yeah.
like a full figure and maybe a face next to it, kind of like that cover right there of Nathaniel. That might.
I think
That
that
might
was an
actually-
ad or something.
No, well, okay, well, it was
Poster.
what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about? Those
Yeah.
guide to the DC universe, where they would
Sure,
have
sure.
a biography next to the character, and it would always be drawn mostly
Yeah.
always be drawn
Who's Who? Yeah.
by the person who did it. Yeah.
That looks like a Who's Who one right there. That's from Who's Who. This
Yeah.
here. That's right. That's from Who's Who. Oh, I'm sorry. What you? Colin Drew sensitive, caring, deep-hearted women, yet glamorous. He did.
Love
He
it.
certainly. I think he's higher than 45, folks. I'm not as adamant
Yeah.
and as annoyed as I am about having Gil Kane as low as he is, having George Perez as low as he is, having Jim Aparo and Wally Wood and people like that as low as they are. But still, he's better. Look, again, I'd have to go back and look at all the ones on the list so far again to refresh my memory. But when I did the 101 down to 50 something that one night, I was pretty livid about some of the ones who were already on there, and I'm like, wait a minute. So you think they're 90 something better comic book artists than Jim Aparo? To
I
hell
don't
with
know what
you.
I don't know what their foundation can be if they put Aparo at 90 and put Cole
99.
at 40. Oh,
Like
God.
99
Well, I love
or
this
something.
this comment from Captain James T. Skywalker. He says, "Back when trying something different was a good thing," and I like this because
Yeah.
this is obviously
that's
getting
right.
into the politics of what's breaking down nerd culture and geek culture, and this is this corporate aversion to any type of risk, and this is why we continue to see terrible things happening to the books and comics and stories that we love. So Captain James T. Skywalker, what a great comment. And yes, this corporate risk averse ecosystem is not
Yeah.
good for creativity. It's not good for artists or creators or storytellers. So love that comment, my friend.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they're not risk takers anymore. But what was going to talk? What was going to the so far at 45? I would have to refresh myself, but they've had at least anywhere from 5 to maybe 7 or 8 people already from 45, 101 to 45 that were easily in my top 20.
Yeah.
That's just, again, who am I? Just one person list. I understand that. When Mark and I did our top 25 list, that was brutal to make 25 for me, but for him too. But we had a lot of fun doing it because Minimus doesn't like lists. He's under list.
I really don't. Oh, this is neither here nor there, but remember in the 70s when DC was hiring Filipino artists like all over the place? Most of them that we loved who did really great work are gone now. But Ernie Colin is not only still around, but he still does art demonstrations. He will let you watch him draw on his Facebook feed.
That's Ernie, not Gene, by the way, for those who don't know the difference.
Ernie Colin,
I know.
Filipino artist.
Not everybody knows. Yeah,
Well,
in the
they
70s,
should.
there was a gigantic influx of Filipino artists for some reason. They went to DC. That a few of them, not too many are around anymore, but there were tons of them. Remember that?
There is a video about that, and it was because they needed cheap artists. And the thing about Filipino artists, they're used to getting paid 50 cents a page. When Carmine Infantino or whoever was in charge over there sent somebody over to scout for them, they were told that they were going to make $10 a page, and everybody over there freaked out. Some of them even moved to America. Alfredo Alcala, Tony DeZuniga. I don't know that Nestor Redondo ever moved here, but that was, in my mind anyway, Nestor Redondo was the greatest of the Filipino artists.
Well, I'll just tell you this, Hungry Boy, since no one would want to go back and sit through that show. Well, if you ever do, there's a link in my description in the Mark C playlist. But since we're talking about comic book art, and I've never done this on CLOBBY'S Clubhouse, and because Minimus hates lists so much, I'll count down my list really quickly, the top 25 comic book artists, just because Minimus is guesting with us tonight, and he loves lists so much. He's a listist, actually. Is that good with you? Number one, what do you think?
Yes, Minimus. How do you not like lists? You said you claimed that you were in radio. Everyone in radio and in print is aware of the fact that people love lists.
People in radio go to the list because they're trying to fill airtime. And you know this stuff. You're
not true
professional.
We do it because we have fun.
No, I'm talking about radio. I am talking about actual radio.
That's true. We're not radio.
We'll do it like a top 10 countdown. It's like,
oh yeah. Well, we don't do that. We do 25, but we do it so we can talk about something we love and put them in order. I don't know. So people,
well, there's an intense social aspect to it. So we even do it in magazine editing and magazine writing and magazine production and any type of periodical. And it's because it's a way of people testing what they think and whether or not their opinions are good, bad, whether they're shared, whether they're not shared. And so, when somebody is passively imbibing one of these periodicals or even the radio, they are interested. They're incredibly interested to know what other people think and what other people feel. So very, very odd that Claude, our French gentleman, hates lists. Minimus pride.
There's one list that I love. One.
He's gonna make a composer joke.
Classical composer Franz Liszt. Prelude is one of the best pieces of music ever.
Well, I'm not going to be totally upset with you for liking classical music. I'm not familiar with that list. However, I will say this. For not liking lists, even though people love it because it's a form of communication and bonding, I send you shin kicks, sir. One for each leg.
Welcome to the club. She does it to Mark all the time, so that's like
that's okay because I'm 64 and my shins are gone anyway. So
love it. Okay, so
I'll go get a wheelchair tomorrow.
Let's do this list. Minimus Prime, I want you to go into the closet in the back room, pull out your old soccer
and then come out.
I'm going
put them on your legs.
I'm going into straight jacket mode.
He's into the closet already.
This is great. Okay, Clobby, I think this is a great segue of qualification. You want to qualify what you've said. So let's give her. As they say in Canada.
Look, I'm going to get credit. At least you get to pick on me for my list being stupid, everyone, because it'll be stupid. I'm sure somebody won't like it.
Let's do it.
All right. My top 25 all-time favorite comic book artists are Claude Perishable. I was kidding. He just missed the list. Minimus Prime made the list, barely. What? You don't want to be included on the list? Are you in there? You're 25 through 21. How about that?
I think he's gone into straitjacket mode. I suggested shin guards and earplugs, but he has opted for full-on straitjacket mode. He had Claude has left the building until we're done
I
with
think
these
he's there.
pesky, tawdry lists that he finds so boorish.
Well, I don't know. Are you there, list boy? I don't know. I think he's not here, but he shows that he's here. Minimusness.
Primusness.
Minimass.
MP.
Are you there?
No.
It shows that he's.
Hello.
Because when someone's not here, you can tell usually. I don't know. He's not even muted. I'm not kidding. He's not even muted. I don't know.
I know.
Oh well. I'm gonna do it anyway. But
You should. And Hungry Boy just yelled in the chat. Do
Do
it.
all right. I'll do it quick. I'm not gonna be like all night like we do the list. Just.
Snail
Number-
Messiah says, I kicked Claude way too hard, and that was wrong of me. I do apologize. And David Cuz says, great banter as usual. Love you all. Love all you geeks. Keep clobbering.
Thank you. My number 25 is John Buscema. Is that a bad?
Dun-dun-dun.
Yeah, I know. He's kind of a stunner. A lot of people don't like him, but what can I tell you? I don't know. Actually, that's not true. I just love him. I was saying that. Minimus, you're being called by. Are you seriously? Are you there? Okay, no. As long as you're sleeping where we can hear you. Okay. All right. 25. John Buscema. Got any comment on that one? You can comment on these if you want to, Minimus.
Well, the Comic Relief Crusader has a comment, and I absolutely love it because it's like comic book ready. Kapow!
Kaplach.
Hey, you just took it to Star Trek, and Chris Persia, instead of saying "Release the Kraken," he says "Release the Clobby list."
Big John at number 25. I've got Marshall Rogers at number 24. There are a lot of dead people on this list. It makes me sad. 23, Al Williamson. 22, Walt Simonson. 21, Steve Rude. 20, Nick Cardy. I'm not seeing the reactions because I'm having to look at my list on something. So that's let me see if there are any reactions here from Hungry Boy.
Put them on the marquee. Everybody start reacting
you can
hardcore.
You don't have to, but you star them if you want to. Number 19, Joe Kubert. Number 18, Mike Grell. Number 17, sorry, Steve Ditko. I think I'm gonna get in trouble for the next one though. Number 16, Alex Ross. He's not really a comic book artist, but I like his stuff. Sue me. Is that bad?
He's done a couple of things.
I mean, he's done a lot of comics, but I mean, he paints things. Does it count still? Some people don't.
Well,
like
he did Marvels. He did Kingdom Come.
He did a lot.
He did some JSA books.
And those, and those big. But a lot of people don't. I don't know because of the painting, because he paints instead of. But I'm sorry, I really love his stuff.
Didn't he paint over Buscema in that Superman Fantastic Four book?
I don't know, but no, that was. No, I think you're thinking of Ordway and him did that, or so. No, James Jurgens. But he did, however, paint over George Perez's pencils and inks for the Crisis of Infinite Earths poster that I have on my wall. It's like 15 feet long.
Again, I would not throw him in there. I wouldn't throw him out either, but I wouldn't throw him in there as a comic book artist. He is an artist.
Yeah, he still does comic books, though.
Yeah, just not as much as most of the other guys.
I just thought there might be
our list bouncer. You're going to throw him in, or
he's no Bob Oxner. Let me just say that.
That's true. I can prove it. Number 15, Bernie Wrightson. Our boy Stephen Chure loved him some Bernie Wrightson. So do I. Number 14, Dave Cockrum. Number 13, and this is one of the ones that was Steven and I thought, and he was right probably. I don't know. I had him kind of low because he loved him more than I did. Wallace Wood. He loved Wally Wood. Steven loved Wally Wood. Number 12, Jim Starlin. Number 11, Barry Windsor Smith. Remember, this is a favorites list, guys. I'm not unlike Minimus and Hungry Boy, I'm not an artist. I can't draw. I just know what I like. So, all right. Now who's ready for the top 10?
Dun, 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 dun.
It's a very personal top 10, ladies and gerbils. Top 10. Number 10, Kurt Swan. Now, here's the one that brought the house down the night we did this show because Mark Stephen Chure, my dear buddy, was shocked by this next one. Number 9, John Byrne.
That is shocking.
That's his favorite artist. He thought I hate. Everyone thinks I hate Byrne because I'm mad at Byrne. You can be mad at him and still like their work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish Stephen Chure were here to hear that. I think
he did hear it though. I told him.
That's how we became friends.
He knew it. But I
He's
mean,
such a sweetheart of a human, and wow, he would have been a great addition to this conversation. God rest his soul.
Barry was. Well, yeah, he just put the Windsor there to be pretentious. No, I'm just kidding. I love Barry Windsor Smith. Number 8, John Romita Sr. No bloody junior, or junior.
Yep.
Senior. The Pappy.
Or as we call him, John Romita.
Yeah, exactly. I only put the.
I'm going to interrupt for a second because I would like it if everyone could please share the link to this program on their social media accounts.
What?
And please use the hashtag Team Gerbil.
I should never have said that.
Hungry boy, I love you. Hashtag Team Gerbil. Also, Glinser just walked through the door.
Glinser. Hey,
give a warm
Glinser.
welcome to Glinser.
All right, Glinser. Hello there. Good to see you. Number 7, Jim Steranko. Number 6, not number 90 friggin' 9 or whatever. Number 6, Jim Aparo. Don't care who knows it. I love the guy. God damn it. Now, the top 5, and I'm sure Minimus will be shocked by the next one. Number 5, Neil Adams. Is that too high? I think it's, look, let's face it, after about 1990, his art.
Yeah.
80. His art. A little bit on the questionable side. Number 4, Jose Luis Garcia Lopez. I'm sorry. Well, I'm not sorry. Number 3, George Perez. Now here's the question. I bet
you put Georgie at 3?
At 3. And I know Minimus can guess number 2 because What's
number 2? What's number
nobody
2?
can guess number 1. I'm sure, right?
It's Kirby.
No one could guess that. So who could get? And Minimus now could easily guess number 2, so he's disqualified.
Can I guess? I would guess Will Eisner, but it's probably Gil Kane.
Eli Katz.
Gil Kane.
Number 2, Gil Kane.
Yeah.
Eli.
I was right. Oh my God!
Eli Katz is the man. He is, of course, the great Gil Kane. And number 1 is Jakob Kurtzberg.
Oh my goodness.
Jakob Kurtzberg, the great Jack Kirby.
And he did have his name legally changed.
He did. Yeah. I love Eisner, but I mean, I love these artists more. So I'm no disrespect for Eisner. You should see all the names that got left off that I wrote on there that I struggled with leaving all over the place. I mean, Joe Schuster, Alex Raymond.
I like Kirby as number 1. I like George as number 2. I like Kane as number 3. And I want to say there's another guy, but I don't know. I can't remember the conversation, but we had a fine arts night where we did like a proper, this is a university seminar on fine arts. And I think there was a gentleman who did paintings. He was absolutely incredible. And I think his name is Frazetta.
Oh, we did show again. Our buddy Mark was a Frazetta fanatic. And yes,
incredible. And his work in Tarzan, I could be wrong, but I have a lot on my mind, and I read a lot, so I don't want to get confused. But I believe
his Tarzan
is absolutely effing incredible. I
think it was Frazetta. We'll show you Frazetta and see if it'll, because we also
at the Earth's Core. He did the cover.
Well, yeah.
So, did you know that 2 years ago I had no opinions on comics at all?
Everybody gets opinions on stuff once they're exposed to it.
Yeah.
It's just human nature.
Yeah.
I'll show you some Frazetta, see if that's what you're talking about, because we've shown him so much. Well, we did show her some Frazetta one night.
I can't share anything on here because I don't know how to do the kind of weird stuff that you guys do. But a few years ago, some guy was basically cutting up some Roy G. Crinkle sketches
Oh, he's amazing.
and auctioning them off on eBay. We have like 3 or 4 of them. And I thought, well, I'm never going to get Roy G. Crinkle's autograph because he died like 22 years ago or something.
Right.
And I found one online. It was not only a rough sketch of a saber-toothed tiger, but on the back was another rough sketch that he scribbled a line through, and he wrote on it what he meant to do with it. And then that little show we went to in Slidell last year, I found a Roy G. Crinkle who.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Roy Crinkle was not only a contemporary, he was a close personal friend of Frank Frazetta. And I thought, it's a portfolio. I'll get it. But I open it up, and there's his autograph, finally.
Yeah, that's right. That was amazing, that thing you found. That
Yeah.
You weren't even...
Everyone, while the guys are talking, I beg your pardon, fellas.
Yes.
While the guys are talking, I want you all to know that I'm reading all of your comments, and I love everything that you've taught me. And I love that you have not talked like geeks around me. You haven't ever made me feel like an outsider. You guys have all talked about this stuff like nerds, and you've been very academic about it, and it has been so enjoyable. And your generosity with your knowledge has just been nothing short of phenomenal. I've had such a great time. I've learned so much. And to be around all this generosity and expertise and just humble, friendly kindness, how can you not be infected with this joy? I love it. I just absolutely love it. It is a crazy, amazing world. And and I have so much respect for it. Even just, can I just share with you guys, when I was in radio, and we were, and listeners would be at home. One of the things that listeners always, say is, why does that person make mistakes? And why did that story have a dangling modifier? Why was that modifier misplaced? And people don't realize that there's an urgency to the news. There's an urgency to what we call traffic, and that's how the show happens. And so we don't have as much time as we would like to perfect and vet the process. And even just learning that these incredibly talented people had to rush to get the comics out, like we had to rush to get the news out. And yet, what they've done is just, it's remarkable. It's beautiful. When you start talking about Kirby, Perez, Kane, Frazetta, you're talking about people who are preternaturally gifted artists. And I cannot believe so much information. And I just thank you all for teaching me. I'm having a fabulous time, and I love you all very much.
Now, the artist that you're talking about, Frank Frazetta, also he was like the ghost cartoonist for Al Cap on Little Abner for many years. And he got so good at it, you can't tell, unless you have some kind of a guide, who did what. Because basically Al Cap was a big jerk. In the range of Bob Kane. He was that big of a jerk. He paid Frazetta for being Al Cap. And there's a release, there's a hardback, I think, of the Little Abner comic strip, the Frank Frazetta years, but on every page of Little Abner comic strip, you don't see the name Frank Frazetta. It's Al Cap. Much the way that
I didn't know that.
Bob
So
Kane
that's his nom de plume, or is that
no? Al
artist?
Cap was a real
Cap
guy.
was a
He was a
cartoonist.
jerk too.
So he wrote in his stead.
Well, I think Cap wrote the stories and Frazetta drew everything. Frazetta didn't like comic strips or comic books, but he did one called Snowman, which was a cartoon character, and you can look at it and say, that's not Frazetta. But it was, and it was his favorite comic strip to do. He also did, what was it, The Shining Knight for DC.
Yeah.
And I think
some Westerns.
He did some Westerns. He did some horror.
Yeah, Bobby was saying something about that. That really, he
did everything until he settled into he wanted to be an illustrator. So he became a painter. And I don't know how many people know this, but late in his life, after his wife died, he had a stroke. He's right-handed. He had a stroke. He couldn't move that side of his body. He taught himself how to paint with his left hand.
Oh wow.
and you couldn't tell by looking at it that it was anything from. It could have been from before that period if you weren't aware of it.
Yeah. Well, I grew up in the 70s. And as I said, I'm an academic. I know nothing about the geek world. And
Mhm.
I was introduced to Frank Frazetta
Yeah.
by Hungry Boy.
Mm.
And we just talked about it. And it's funny because, like, the visuals that Frank Frazetta presents, they have the same tone and the same authorial quality that
Mm.
I really enjoy in my writing as an author. So there's this sort of it's like an otherworldly feeling, and I enjoy
Yeah.
that in like when I'm imbibing a film. I don't know about films and TV like you guys do, but the thing is that when I watch A League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, I'm seeing science fiction, but I'm also seeing this element of gothic horror, and that was the birthplace of science fiction. When we look to things like Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, or what its proper name, the modern Prometheus,
Mhm.
you're seeing that influence of that gothic feel in this science fiction. And so when I'm looking at this Frank Frazetta, and I'm seeing this is John Carter, obviously John Carter on
Hmm.
Mars. This is what I'm talking about. This delicious, dark, gothic sort of horror feel to something that is science fiction. And so for me, Frazetta is somebody who takes me to another world. It's not like you're looking at something and you stay on the front of the page.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a place that you go. And there are very few books and very few artists that do that for me. Dune does that for me. The Hobbit, when I read The Hobbit when I was a child, it did that for me. Um, uh, Don Quixote did that for me. Dante, the Inferno, did that for me. It's a place you're going. It and yeah, Frazetta is just unbelievable to me. I think he is so talented.
He is pretty much revered by pretty much anybody that's ever picked up a brush who has heard his name. Uh,
Yeah.
about eight months ago, Dave Dorman set himself what seemed like an impossible task. He was going to reproduce this very painting of John Carter with Woola, with Deja Thoris, with the moons in the background, and the foreground, the rocks and grass and stuff. And it
Mhm.
took him a few days, and you can tell it's off just a little bit. But he wasn't going to finish it if it didn't look close enough to Frazetta, and he came very, very damn close to Frazetta. I would say it's like a 90% copy. And there are other people. I was an airbrush artist for 22 years in a shopping mall, not to brag, but I did so many Frazetta paintings, uh, recreated them on T-shirts and jackets. I had a jacket that I kept painting on. I would paint over it and paint more crap on it. But when I did this one, I hated it. I hated it. I hated it, and I, I covered it up with black paint. It was so bad, and I did Daffy Duck crawling out of a hole over it. So
I would love to see your art. I can't wait until we're able to get down to Louisiana, because I want to go to all of the beautiful bookstores there, especially the used bookstores. And
uh,
oh, Monkey
Uncle
Divas!
Jeebus. What's
Monkey
up,
Divas
dude?
is here, everybody. Please say hello to
Monkey
Monkey
Diva.
Divas.
Monker. What's up, duder? Good to see you.
Yeah, I think it's incredible. Like I know a lot of people don't like that feel, but I love that feel. I love the Frazetta feel. It's how I write. I'm heavily influenced by Edgar Allan Poe. When I'm watching The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, some people think that they're watching a fantasy show. Of course, I don't gravitate towards that. I gravitate towards the fact that it's science fiction, because all I'm thinking about is the Nautilus, and all I'm thinking about is Nemo, and I'm thinking about this beautiful place where our minds used to go when we were terrified of technology and mechanization and even electricity. So yeah, Frazetta for me, I will always be so grateful to Hungry Boy and Clobby introducing me to Frank Frazetta. I love him. I love him. He is so talented.
Yeah, and
He's amazing.
in the words of Arthur's butler, there are 3 books. Actually, there's more than that. There are 3 books called The Fantastic Art of Frank Frazetta. Look for them. They're paperback. The original price was kind of weird for the time. It was like $15, and I brought them to work. Of course, we were reproducing Frazetta stuff all the time. So the guy that I worked with decided to slice out a few pages so that he could put them up and look at them while he painted them. And I thought, oh well, that's the end of that. Years later, I go into a used bookstore
Yeah.
here in Baton Rouge, and the guy had all 3 of them right there.
I beg your pardon. Please excuse me. You said it so fast, sweetheart, that I didn't hear you. And I love books. So you're speaking to me now. Tell me that these. May I please have the title again?
The Fantastic Art of Frank Frazetta, Volume 1, Volume 2, and Volume 3. There's also a big hardback called Icon, The Art of
Hold
Frank
on, hold
Frazetta.
on. I'm actually writing this down. I know a lot of people just talk out their butt on YouTube. I don't. The Fantastic Art of Frank Frazetta, and
Right.
there's a volume
There's 3
1,
volumes.
2, and 3. And then what's the other one, sweetheart?
It's Icon, The Art of Frank Frazetta, ICON. I don't know who wrote it, but it's Frazetta art. And the initial price was $50, so it's probably going to be more than that now. It was a big book, though.
Yeah.
And who's this guy who's, like, you'll know, the guy who did all those kind of tribute books, like Kurt Swan. He did the, he has the same name as that guy who ate all McDonald's hamburgers for 30 days in a row. Spurlock.
Yes.
Yes.
Anyway,
Spurlock guy, yeah.
Spurlock is like really into that kind of art. I think he did
David
2.
Spurlock.
David Spurlock. He did 2 Frazetta books, and the only reason I was disappointed in his large book that I ordered was because he would do like smaller reproductions, and he would do them over 2 pages, and it was saddle stitched, and that's not really good when you want to see the whole art. You should have like
Yeah.
some fold out pages or something
Yeah,
at
yeah,
least
yeah.
like that.
Absolutely.
But again, it's Frazetta, and so I got it.
Very exciting. I don't want to detract from the conversation whatsoever, so I beg your pardon. But one of our friends just walked through the door. Please, everyone, welcome Oliver Bellamont.
Hello, Oliver.
Just walked through the door.
Good to see you.
Wave hello. Nice to see you, Oliver.
Good to see you there, Oliver.
I love
Yeah.
this comment about color valences and this relationship of emerald to cobalt that Hungry Boy is making. Very salient point. It's like, it's so hard to explain. The emerald is so cleansing, and it draws your eye into the art, but the cobalt gives it this sort of eerie gothic feel, and I love it so much, and I love your comments, Hungry Boy. You're just so inspiring. It's so great to adore art in this way, and I just love it.
A couple of weeks ago on my good friends, our good buddies, and a friend of the channel, Pop Culture Minefield, they interviewed Frazetta's, Stephanie Frazetta, Frank Frazetta's granddaughter and the mom as well, who are both, and his granddaughter's an artist herself, and they run the Frazetta Museum up there, which I'd love to go to that thing. They were talking about that a lot, so they're still very active. So and I saw them at Dragon Con one year. The the granddaughter and the daughter.
Yeah.
So
In Florida, they have an appointment only tour of the Frazetta Museum.
Was it Florida? I thought it was up north somewhere.
No, they have the one I think it's in Pennsylvania, but it's way down south. It's I don't remember the name of the town, but it's on the Frazetta Girls Facebook page. And anyway, I asked him, I said, would you ever consider doing a traveling show? And I was shocked that they actually responded to me right away. They said that was a good idea. That is a great idea, because while you do have this wonderful museum, it's sort of like people who want to go to Disney World. Well, it's kind of a long way to go. even for me in Louisiana, it's outside of Orlando, Florida. That's a nice long drive. I'm not sure I want to invest that drive just to go there and get some ears. And the Frazetta Museum too. I even told them, like, if I walked in there, if I saw that stuff, I would cry like a baby to actually see it up close. Not only that, his brushes in a glass case, his pre-painting sketches, things like that he actually had his hands on. I would have to come out in a wheelchair.
It's a crazy experience. I have that very same experience when I travel and I go to metropolitan museums of fine art. When you stand in front of Van Gogh, and I know my mother-in-law right now would be because my Dutch is terrible, but when you stand in front of Van Gogh, when you stand in front of Dolly's chess set, when you are inches and you're breathing the same space as a Picasso or a Monet or a Renoir, it's crazy, the feeling, Claude. It is absolutely crazy. It's like you have an outer body experience. It's amazing, and I just absolutely love it. So I share your passion for art in that way, and the experience that it creates. You feel it physically. You're feeling it throughout your whole body. You're feeling it emotionally, intellectually, and for some of us, you even have a physical response to being around something that beautiful and someone that talented.
Mm-hmm.
Oliver says, I'll never forget Alfredo Alcala's art on He-Man, Tony DeZuniga's Jonah Hex, love that, Alex Nino's Heavy Metal, Nestor Redondo's Swamp Thing, and Stephen Gann, co-creator of Star Wars. He's talking about the Filipino artists that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, I thought that's why I highlighted that comment. I thought you would like to see that.
All those guys, again, they did a lot of work in the 70s, and you still hear, I don't know, but to DeZuniga's, I mean, I don't know how Alcala you still hear a little bit about, of course, and DeZuniga a little bit, but yeah, you don't hear about Nestor Redondo didn't stay in comics that long. Stephen Gann didn't either.
Well, he did, but he was in comics overseas. He went to the Philippines. He did a lot of religious comics.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, I'm at mainstream, but yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Guys,
the Thing's here.
Yes, Thing is here. He says my clobbering sense was tingling. It's clobbering time. And Dark Shadow Logan has some really nice comments on the board as well, if you'd like to look at them, Captain.
Each piece of Frazetta art tells a full story without additional panels and makes you feel like you are inside the art, feeling the emotion he drew into it. That's actually very well said, sir.
A beautiful thing to say.
Just amazing. So I guess like I said, we've shown you a lot of different artists, but yeah, I remember that. I do remember the night while we looked at
that was a wonderful lesson in the potential of comic book art, and it flies in the face of everyone who would think that they could pish posh comic books as inferior art. I would also like to say that Hungry Boy is saying that Frazetta's granddaughter is highly
yes,
talented.
she is talented.
And her online presence is
and
delight.
Guess who one of her biggest boosters is?
Who?
Dave Dorman.
Yeah, Dave Dorman's a great artist. By the way, this of course, I mean, he did some of the early concept art for the great Battlestar Galactica TV show in the 70s, as you can see there.
I remember you showing that to me the first night that we spoke of Frazetta, and it's really good, isn't it?
That showed up as an ad in the TV Guide.
You did. It was had a TV Guide. That's
and it's on a book
Carter
by Richard Hatch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and isn't that what's her name? Oh, I can't remember her name.
Daisy Thorus.
Queen, no. The vampire queen with the snake.
Vampirella?
Vampirella?
No. Robert Rodriguez from Heavy Metal.
Oh, yes, that's right. Yeah, Robert Rodriguez he owns a lot of and he Frank Frazetta art.
Look at that body, Hungry Boy.
She said, I heard in an interview
talking about how you can celebrate the human form, and it doesn't have to be sexual. And that, for me,
that sure is, though.
I don't feel that that's sexual. I feel it's almost powerful. Like there's
you can
She's
see some
exuding
symbolism, but you can also see that it's also great art. One of his favorite models was his wife Ellie, who, if you look at a bunch of his early drawings and paintings and stuff, that's Ellie Frazetta.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
Ellie's, I think it was her nephew, was Ken Kelly,
Mm-hmm.
whose entire career was
That's right. He was.
basically aping Frazetta.
Yeah.
And yet he didn't like other artists that did it though. He didn't like
Uh,
Boris. He didn't like Jeff Jones.
well,
Some of those
Frazetta didn't
guys.
like Boris.
That's what I said. Frazetta didn't like Boris.
I
Frazetta
mean,
didn't like Jeff Jones or any of those guys.
She's
Yeah.
beautiful, though. Look at her. She just, the queen of the damned. She's the queen of the damned.
Yeah.
She is absolutely beautiful. She's powerful. I love her body shape, her proportion. I think that she is just absolutely outstanding, totally powerful, and I just absolutely love it. And pop culture is saying that the BSG poster was crazy. So when you put that up, Clubby, I think Pop really enjoyed it and wanted to look at it a little larger. We can't make it larger though, because of copyright reasons. But I hear you, Pop. I love that.
Mainly just 'cause
I love
I
that
don't have
poster
it.
as well.
I got to get back to it.
There are statues of the Death Dealer around. There's one, I don't know where it is. If you look up statues, a giant metal statue at an Air Force base of the Death Dealer.
Yeah.
Yes, please go on, Claude. When you
No, I'm just saying they did little versions of these things and basically in plastic. And, how do you know what the back of this thing looks like? Well, you look at everything that Frazetta does and you surmise what he would do around the side of it. But this gigantic one, it was the Death Dealer himself is bigger than life size on this gigantic horse that's sitting in a lobby of, I don't want to think it's a recruiting station, but I think it's on a base somewhere.
Then you've got, of course, him hanging out with the man Clint Eastwood, and he did this art poster
And
for
the
the.
woman's
well,
under.
that's a
Clint
guy you
Eastwood.
don't kick out of bed for eating crackers. Look at that.
I would.
Clint
I actually
Eastwood.
probably would kick him out for a lot less than that. But that's just me. He's not really my
Just
type.
gorgeous, so manly. I love him. I just grew up just absolutely adoring him. I love his movies. I love him.
That's
I just love him.
poster
Even
art
every
for the
which
film.
way but loose.
Yes,
Look,
and
I
which way you
tolerate
can.
all of it. Okay, you're in for a penny, in for a pound, baby.
Those are funny movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Gauntlet was not so good though. This was a poster for the dumbass movie he did called The Gauntlet, which was
Sudden Impact was kind of crap too, but
yeah. Well, that had some good stuff in it though. It had a classic line in it at least. But yeah, I still love it. I love
Look at the way he draws women, though. This is a man who not only respects women, but definitely sees women as incredibly beautiful. Like,
Sandra Locke never looked that good.
yes, exactly.
Just for a point of information, the Frazetta's Death Dealer is located on the grounds of Fort Hood in Texas.
Wow. Comic Book Crusader asks, while we're talking art, have you ever seen Bill Sienkiewicz's art for Marvel's Transformers #1 or Mark Bright's cover art for Marvel Transformers #5? Love it. I know I'm Mark Bright. I've seen most interior stuff. I have seen that Transformers cover. A lot of people like that style that Sienkiewicz had started back then with his Electra Assassin and his other stuff. But yes, I have Comic Book Crusader. Not #5 though. I mean, Mark Bright. I don't remember any of his cover work. I just know he did a lot of interior stuff. Let's see. Glinser, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. You were too kind, very generous of you. Thank you. Said, who would you say are the best artist writers? I'm sure Frank Miller would get a lot of votes. Glinser, I just a little while ago did my top 25 all-time favorite comic book artists countdown. Just about 30 minutes ago.
But does Glinser mean somebody who is not only an artist but a writer?
No, I know he's talking about that. I just didn't know if he was here before that. Frank Miller would be up there. But if I had to really, because I know what you mean, there aren't that many who are good at both.
Yeah.
Jack Kirby didn't have a flair for dialogue. A lot of people, but he was such a great creative artist and thinker and for ideas and stories. He was great, but a lot of people criticized him, and sometimes it was some validity to it for some of his dialogue. But at least it wasn't like Stan's dialogue, which you have to be in the '60s to not cringe to listen to read. But it wasn't always his greatest dialogue. But he was great at ideas. But as far as I may have to say of all time, I don't know if I want to say Miller because he did a lot of great stuff, but not. And then he did a lot of crap.
How about Perez?
Perez did write some. I don't know. Did you like that Wonder Woman run of his? To be honest, I like the art, but did you like that story?
He did the Avengers.
What else did he write other than that? He did that with the writers.
Well, he did the Avengers with Busiek, but
Busiek, and then before that was Shooter and people like
Gentlemen, may I please interrupt?
Yes.
I beg your pardon, but our friend Grifter just walked through the door. So everyone, please say hello to Grifter. And how
Hey,
Grifter
Grifter.
Saying that that particular artist with the surname that is a total mouthful was a graphic I think he wrote a graphic novel about Jimi Hendrix. Please unpack this.
Sienkiewicz was, to be honest, Sienkiewicz was his graphic novel. I never touched it, so I don't know anything about it. Did you ever see it, Minimus?
I
don't have it, put it like that. I know.
I don't either. They're kind of hard to find. The only thing that I had that he did at the time was the Electra book, and it was pretty. He didn't like to do backgrounds, but I'm trying to think of what it was.
I'm not quite done with your answer yet, by the way, for that interesting question there. Who was it that asked it now?
That was our friend Glinzer.
Oh, Glinzer. Okay, but go ahead, Minimus, while you're doing.
How about Stray Toasters? I don't know. I never saw anything that he did with the
Plastic Forks.
Plastic Forks, Stray Toasters. Let's all get in on
those. Those are comics, by the way. We're not kidding.
They are.
Sienkiewicz did a comic called Stray Toasters with that weird stuff. Okay, I don't know for sure who would be the one, but I'll give you as good an answer as I can. I think it might be Miller, because he just a couple of weeks ago, my great friend Nick Weiser and I did review one of the greatest comics of all time, which had some of the greatest writing and art ever, but he didn't do the art on it's the problem. We did, for example, we reviewed Daredevil Born Again, but that's great because of Mazzucchelli's brilliant art on it. So, and yet his run when he was writing and drawing it for a while on Daredevil for about a couple of years, which turned him into a superstar, was some damn good stuff. So that said, Miller, but yet his art's not. Here's the thing, I don't know, man. He could write and draw his own stuff to a point, but sometimes, like, I didn't think much of Ronin personally. I have a lot of issues with the Dark Knight, Batman: The Dark Knight Returns, especially or I should say problems with an issue 4. Which, I don't think that is his best, and that's one that he both wrote and drew. So I think his best comics are comics that he didn't draw that he wrote. Sounds weird, and yet he's mostly was known for to be an artist at first. He's as much a writer as he is an artist, but the two, I don't think he's ever combined for the two to make a great comic.
He did find a good artist in David Mazzucchelli.
Mazzucchelli was, it's just unreal how great this comic was, and a lot of it was for the art in Daredevil Born Again.
Yeah.
Hungry Boy, don't worry about your typos. I think it's absolutely ridiculous to try and have a conversation in this medium. Really, I think it. First of all, it's ridiculous to try and type out what you're saying letter by letter using your thumbs, and then try and get it through all the algorithms, the layers upon layers of incorrect autocorrect, and then put it up to the chat before we have moved on to something else. So, you know what, sweetheart? Don't worry about your typos. I don't really care about how you type. I care about your mind and the things you think, and I realize how bizarro world the medium is. This medium sucks, but your thoughts and what you're sharing, they definitely don't suck. So keep going, babe.
Miller broke in as an artist, and to me, his greatest work ever was as a writer when he didn't draw the comic, and that's right here, Born Again. So that's kind of a weird thing, I know.
Yeah.
But it's one of the greatest comics ever written. And when I went back and revisited this a couple of weeks ago and we reviewed it, I as much as I still love the story, I was absolutely, this is some of the greatest art of any comic in terms of telling a story I've ever seen. He's better than Miller, but he's kind of like taking after Miller too, just better.
He may have gotten some art direction from Miller, but this is all Mazzucchelli.
Mazzucchelli. He was. I mean, this is just gorgeous stuff, and it's beautifully put together. It's so cinematic.
He also did Batman Year One.
Yeah, I think he did a better job on this, but that was great. And Miller wrote that. So Miller's greatest work, in my opinion, are 2 stories he wrote that he didn't draw, which is weird. And as to Byrne, the other big hot shot who had to write and draw his own stuff, because for the longest time, with few exceptions, that was mostly unheard of. You know, that wasn't being done much. Usually there was a writer and there was an artist.
Yeah, it's the Michael Vick syndrome when you're trying to find somebody to throw the ball to, but you know you can run really fast, so you run the damn ball down the field yourself.
You look great at it till you fumble.
Gentlemen, I beg your pardon. Please excuse my interruption.
Dad Man.
But Dad Man has to leave, so can we all say good night to the Dad Man clan? My love to your whole family, Dad Man. Thank you for stopping in.
Dad Man.
Good night, Dad Man. Now, Dave Sim was different. Dave Sim could do both, but it was his one creation. If he'd done like 50 different characters, you know, 10 different series, it'd be different to be able to judge it. But he did. He was one of those, but he was independent, too. He wasn't working for the big guys.
Yeah.
So
he did a bunch of independent Canadian comics. He was also friends with Gene and Dad and David Day. They were all around the like the Kitchener and Hamilton area in Ontario.
But I'd have to say, now, Mr. Byrne, okay. John Byrne saw Miller doing it and said, I can write my own character. I like this first couple of years of FF. Then I think he started to get bored. And there's nothing worse than a bored John Byrne because it shows through his damn comics. And then this classic friendship of my good buddy Stephen Cherry and I kind of started here with our Superman debate. He loves Byrne's Superman. I hate it, but we'll just leave that out for a second. Byrne sometimes can write okay and sometimes can be a garbage writer. He should never have ever been able to ink himself, by the way. That's a side because he can't ink himself for shit. But I'll tell you one thing he was good at was writing Star Trek.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
That's what Stephen said. Well, I guess he's known as Mark in this medium. But yeah, that's what Mark Steven used to say. Mark Steven Chire. That's how we met. And he was so excited and so enthusiastic about showing me Byrne's Star Trek.
There's a good... Oh, I'm sorry. I just wanted to make sure before we forget. That is a good one. Starlin's one I forgot. That's a good one. Thank you. Go ahead. He was good at writing. You were saying about what he was saying about Star Trek.
Oh, just know that I completed my thought. I don't mind at all, Captain. I just wanted to get that in there. That that Mark Steven Chire right out of the gate. That was one of the first things that he said to me. He said, I realize that comics aren't your deal, but I have to show you this. You're really going to love this stuff, Raquel. I have something I have to send to you. I picked it up for you. It's on my desk, and I can't wait for you to see it. And then he passed away. So, but what a beautiful person he was, and I'm so happy that I got to meet him, and I'm so happy that he was a part of my comic book journey with all of you great geeks. So, I was not feeling well on his memorial night, but you were so gracious to host. So. I just had to do my little shout out for him.
We had a great turnout for him, and Loki and Mexican Iron Man were there, and it was great. And then Doomcock showed up later. Hail Doomcock! I really appreciate him coming on the show.
Was Jack there? Did Jack and Mima come?
And a lot of Mark's family were here for that. They were very touched. They were very appreciative. As you know, your Muslim uncle donated that, got Mark's name put on a plaque for a well for a community in Africa, somewhere in Pakistan, I believe it was, where people needed water. But it was very nice of him to do that. I did not expect anything like that. It was very a kind gesture for sure. And we appreciate that. But yes, he loved Byrne, and I will say that Byrne could write some Star Trek comics. I mean, he wrote those Romulan issues. He wrote Star Trek McCoy Frontier Doctor, which I enjoyed.
Did all those photo novels.
He did a Star Trek Crew, which I really enjoyed.
I have some of the photo novels.
And the photo novels are, Again, that's cheating though, because he just decided he doesn't want to draw anymore.
But you know what I said to Mark when Mark Stephen Chire, because I don't want to mix him up with all the other Marks out there.
Yeah.
I walked into the comic book shop where I live, and it was very clear there were no nerds there. It was all geeks. And so I wasn't sure what to say, and I wasn't sure what to ask, and I wasn't sure how to approach it. Now, up here, I have to say, it's not really geeks that like Star Trek. It's mostly nerds. So I walk into the comic book shop. I walked over to the guy. I'm like, what have you got that's not filth? And he looked at me like very bizarre. I don't even know when this was. This might have been 2008, I think, when I did this. Maybe 2009. I don't know. You know how the human memory works. But yeah, and I was just like, look, I just don't want filth. So don't share your filth with me. Don't show it to me and tell me that you think it's cool. It's like showing you a dirty diaper, like showing you baby poo in a dirty diaper. Like, look, I did it.
I thought you were talking about porn.
It's disgusting. So it's just like, look,
no porn.
keep your filth to yourself, and let's see the good stuff. And he was like, well, I have something safe for you. He opened up the burned photo novels of these graphic novels. They're actually like quasi.
Could have been 09, then it would be a few years that way after that.
It might, yeah, okay.
No, there were photo novels. There are photo novels from the 80s.
No, he's talking about the burned ones weren't cool. Yeah, I know, but they weren't. Yeah.
So I was just like,
I think she's talking about the burned ones.
So what they did was they just reconstituted Star Trek
images
into the story.
And
this way I could have some Star Trek because I didn't, you know what I mean?
Well, and when he had to create a character for the story, it was very awkward looking. Like there was one where it was dealing with Pike and his crew, and number one was still alive. So what does he do to make her look older? He does this little whip of white in the front of her hair.
So they have some from the 80s. Okay, so when did the stupid movie come out that I hate with all of my heart?
09.
That started this crap?
Yeah, but no, what
What
Minimus needs by photo novels is there were these books that were very small, paperback size in the late 70s. They were actually called photo novels. They were similar to what Byrne did later. There were a bunch of, except these were episodes. Like they did it 10 different episodes where like Sitting on the Edge Forever and a few others where they just put pictures from the episode and in succession. Fumetti is what they call that kind of thing. And they put word balloons in there and on the cover. And they were called photo novels. Well, when Byrne did that in the mid 2000 what, like 11 or 12, 13, whatever, somewhere up in there. When he did it, it was similar to that. But what he did, he didn't adapt episodes. He cut out pics or whatever. They were photoshopped pics from, screenshots from episodes, arranging them to where he could use word balloons to tell a different story.
Okay, well, I'm going to put
That's what you have.
I'm going to go and pull them out of the one bookcase that I have with them in it so I can identify what they are.
I can pull up pictures if you want, but okay.
Yeah, boss man, can you pull up some pictures and so we can compare them and show them to everyone?
Sure, I had them for a while.
There were 12 original photo novels from the series, and 22 or 23 Byrne photo novels, and one of them was like an annual.
Wow, they were like $10 a shot. I remember that.
Yeah, and they did compilations. They did like at least 2 volumes of compilations. I bought everything.
Do they call them photo novels like those old books, or they just call them?
Well, that's what they're called. That's what they're called now.
Stories. Yeah, they're still called that. Okay, because remember the old ones were called photo novels, obviously. Yeah, there we go.
Okay, handsome, I'm back.
New Visions is what it was. The series.
New Visions is what it. Okay,
New Visions is what I have.
Okay, let me show you some pictures unless you want to show us. I mean, if you want the camera, you can do it, but we can do it this way.
No, it's St. Patrick's Day, and I've been sick for a week.
Women, you're so vain.
No, it's not that. It's that I just want to share everyone. Okay, so it doesn't have any copyright information, so I don't know, but it does say 17 on the front of it.
Okay. And I think they did it for a few years. Well, there's the one Minimus was talking about right here. The one with
Let's see, sweetheart.
Pike and his crew.
Okay, so I want all of those.
IDW.
Yeah.
So you see what I'm talking about? This is what you have.
Yep.
This is like the ones you have, right?
Yes. Okay, so I want those, all of those.
Oh,
You,
how many?
if you,
How many do you
if-
have? Count the ones. Let us know which
Okay,
ones you
I
have.
don't
the
have the
files.
one that has the IDW up in the far left-hand corner.
The IDW did them all.
I know, but I have ones that don't have the IDW up in the
Really?
far left-hand corner.
Yeah,
That's strange.
they didn't all have it. There's one called Strange New Worlds.
I
And
don't
it,
have that one.
and it
And they're
had
correct.
Gary Lockwood on the cover of that one.
Really?
Gary Mitchell. You know,
Okay,
New
well, I don't
Reactions.
know if this will work in your country because I think, we have different ISBNs, but
Resistance.
yeah, so I have 17. I have Star Trek New Visions, All the Ages Frozen.
New
I read
Visions,
this
right?
one
Here's
right
your New
after I
Vision.
bought it,
This one here, New Vision. No, that's somebody playing with the cover. Sorry.
and it's
There's that
I have
silver blob coming
17
toward us.
on the Delta,
It's burned.
on the unbroken Delta. For all you filth fans out there, you make me sick. I spit upon you. And then I also have the IDW up in the far left-hand corner, and I have Star Trek New Visions Resistance number 6.
Okay, let me see. I just saw that one a second ago. Let's see. Let me see here. I just seemed to did that one. Hang on. Well, there's the one Minimus just mentioned, Strange New Worlds. But
Look at Hungry Boy.
what?
I swear to God, one day we have to meet a Hungry Boy in real life. Like, he's turning into like our real friend, like not an internet buddy, but like a real friend. How many do you want, Raquel? Oh, love you, Hungry Boy. So funny.
So yeah, well, they're like from Minimus just said, are there like 23 of these bitches now?
23. It's 22 numbers. One of them is like an annual
Whoa.
or a giant size one.
Are these
23.
jokes or are these real ones? Like people are just screwing around. Like this one here from What Are Little Girls Made Of? With the chick.
Hey, they're kind of fun.
Is that a real one?
I think if it's the episodes, it's probably somebody screwing around. But,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So some people, because Burn did this, you got to find like someone. No, that's Memory Alpha. I mean, they're dumb, but they wouldn't put that unless it's a.
Memory
That's not-
Alpha is poo.
Well, they're idiots, but this is not a joke covered. Is this a real covered one of those right there?
I don't
Photos.
know. I wish.
no,
you
that's
could-
real. That's real.
Can you look up
Okay,
All the
that's real.
Ages Frozen?
What do you now? Say again.
All the Ages Frozen, boss
All right,
man,
let's-
and it's Star Trek New Visions number 17.
Okay, let me see. New Visions.
Yes, sir. All the Ages Frozen. Sorry for
Visions.
making you type. You
No,
probably
that's
don't
no
even
problem.
have the glasses on that enable you to see
yes.
the computer.
You
It's
say-
probably really far away.
It was number 17. That's all I really need if it was a
Yeah,
number.
boss man.
Okie dokie. Oops. All I get is
Ew.
filth when I do that.
Ew, sick. Get that off. Ew.
I'll fix
Ew.
it. I'll fix
I'm
it.
having an allergic reaction. Ew.
Ugh, Clutchman.
We're gonna need
Filth.
a Clawbony
God
cleanse.
damn filth. There we go.
Can
There
we
we go.
have a Clawbony cleanse?
Watch you flying a goddamn computer console when you want to be out there hopping galaxies.
Oh,
There we go.
Okay, so there it is.
That is the one.
Yeah. And so
That
like
is
when
the
he
one.
when the guy at the comic book showed me, I was like, okay, so
Okay.
you're a geek. You don't really understand Star Trek. But yes, thank you.
Wow. Okay, so you have a couple of them, right? There you
Yeah, I have a couple of them.
All
They're
the
not
ages
cheap in
frozen.
Canada either. They're over 10 buckaroonies each.
go. Yeah, they're $10 here too. That's why I stopped buying them. I mean, in fact, I think you remember Kim. Kim sent me all of hers, Minimus, and then I gave him to friend Scott.
Yeah.
Don't give them away. Harbor
I
them.
don't know about you. I give them.
Hoard.
I was kind of burned out on them. I bought a few. She gave me all of hers. I don't know why. She just got to get rid of them. I don't know why. And I gave them to a friend of mine. I had them a whole bunch of them. I didn't know they did 23. I guess you have them all, Minimus, right?
I have all but the last
You
one.
have them all?
Yeah.
Well, you better
And-
lock your door when I get to Louisiana, Chloe.
Here's the thing
Because
about it.
I'm taking you down.
That sounds nice. When the shop that I bought stuff from, I am considered one of their weirdo customers. They will order one copy of
weirdo.
something, and I will look at it and go, "Wow, that's great. We only got one copy. It's mine now, unless somebody's asked for. Nobody wants that. I do." So I got all but the last one of those, and they did, like I said, they did compilations. I don't know, if like two or three in each one, but they were they were okay. I'm not going to say they were great. Like I said, the clunky stuff about Byrne inserting one of his friends in a bathrobe with a painted on beard looked ridiculous.
Ugh.
And number one with obviously white out rubbed across the front of her forehead to be like a lock of gray hair. That looked kind of silly too. But he did have, since he has like a finite amount of pictures to draw from, he did some really imaginative work with those.
He did, and the thing is that it's physical media. It's representations of something we love. Now, guys, I have to interrupt because a
Mr.
whole bunch of our
Angel.
friends are here. Chef just showed up, Mr. Angel.
Mr.
He's
Angel,
a
yep.
chef on our crew. Eric Carroll, the
Eric
fine
Carroll.
Irishman. Yeah,
Keely Chow, Roll Tide.
yeah, and Keely Chow Rotide and Eric Carroll. I am Indigenous ethnic Irish, but I don't speak our language, unfortunately. But I'm just going to say, Air Go Brach, I think is how you say it. Long live Ireland, and
Aaron
happy
Aaron
St.
Gobrales.
Patrick's Day.
Yes, and then say, have no fear, O'Reilly's here.
Yeah.
More and more time. Stale Messiah, what's up, dude? Did I see you slither in here, buddy? Good to see you, man.
Yeah, so I
Um,
love these because, like,
They're fun to look at the covers, huh? It's fun to look at.
they're fun to just look at, like the
Yeah.
fact that I can't use any other word other than reconstituted.
Yeah.
It's just it's unbelievable, like for me, and it's incredible for as a pop culture exemplar that this is where we're at, where people were not creating new
Oh,
Star Trek comics. They were taking celluloid. They were taking
yeah.
images of celluloid. They were chopping them up and putting them into a quasi book with new stories told over top of them. So for me, as an academic from communications and technology and professional and academic writing, I look at this with such fascination. I just think that it's amazing. Ooh, accidental tourist. Welcome. Everybody wave hello to accidental tourist.
Accidental Tourist popped in my
Let's just
video.
call
here.
him Axe for short.
Good to see you there. You know, this thing here, this cover here, I think basically this was an episode where Gary Seven, he's using his machine to go get Roger Corby's, hot android chicks, and then she brings him back to the pad. They go, can you get Star Trek on this thing? Yeah, look,
Yeah, there you go.
and boom. Oh,
Which episode?
let's watch some Star Trek, ladies. Hey, hey,
Uh,
hey.
the
I'm Gary. I'm
made
Gary
out of-
Seven, or
Made
maybe
Out of
Gary
Mud was actually a good one because, as you can see, it's basically Harry Mudd taking over Kirk's body.
Yeah.
And hilarity ensues.
Hilarity.
So the other one I have is Boss Man Resistance. Number six. Number 6.
Number 6. Number Resistance. There you go. Did they beat the Borg in this one or something? Is that the Borg?
I can't tell you because this one's bagged and boarded.
The
I
Borg.
should just open it and read it.
I don't
But
think
they're
it is.
quasi hardcovers, so like if you are to read them and enjoy the visual representations, this sort
Can't
of
bend them open.
reconstituted
Looks like the Borg.
celluloid,
It's
you're
not.
you're
I'll
sure
dig
to
through
ruin
mine.
it.
Okay, well, don't be the Borg. That's ridiculous.
No, it's not.
I had
I'll
this
go
one. I
through
think,
all-
isn't this the first one?
that's.
They're scary.
I don't know if that's the
Wasn't
first
this
one.
the first? That's the first one I got, I think.
That might have been the special.
Okay. Ugh. Filth.
But all the rest of them are numbered, I think. So that one doesn't have it. Might have been the first one. Might have been his pilot.
Did you buy this one, Captain? Be merciful if you buy this comic, Captain.
Sorry.
Where's anti-derivative Jill?
don't know.
Anti-derivative Jill and I absolutely love your impressions, and your Gorn impression is like in my top 3.
I would like to get a hold of that Jar Jar filth and rewrite, do a photo novel of that, and rewrite all their dialogue.
Yeah, and so they call it a photo novel. Isn't that odd? And
The
then,
old ones are called photo novels. Let me find some pictures of those, by the way. But go ahead.
but so my one that says Resistance Clubby, you were saying that there would be a difference in what they were called. Well, you're dead to right, darling, because number 6 is called a photo novel. So
Right,
it
but I'm
says,
talking about the old ones. Yeah.
and
Go ahead.
then this one, Boss Man, it says photo play.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. However, I'm talking about the ones from the 70s. I'll find you some pictures.
Show me. I want
Yeah.
more.
See, these
Oh,
were
there
different.
was a photo novel for Star Trek: The Motion Picture in
Here you
color.
go. Here you
There was
go.
also
Yeah,
a photo novel for Wrath of Khan
in black and white. I bought
for
them.
some reason.
I
Why are
have
you
some of
doing
these.
this to me? I don't have a job
see
right
these?
now.
Look at
I
these.
need money.
These are these are episodes that you can read as a comic, like they use the.
Oh
from
my
many-
God!
You've never seen these? These are from like the late 70s, right? Isn't that right? Late 70s.
Yeah, I'm in Canada. We like our con started where I live. Our con started 15 years ago. Our
I have
con
this
started 15 years ago.
I have this one. So these are like the size of small paperbacks, right? Like the
Yeah.
Trek
Yeah.
novels.
I think I have seen these on the internet, but I have never seen them in
Done
Canada.
very good paper too.
They're really slick and very beautiful. They're beautiful to look at. They went kind of, not only did they go kind of weird with this episode selection, when why would you do all our yesterdays, but some of the dialogue they got wrong sometimes. I remember like
Thought balloons.
the thought balloons were or the word of their and they put it on the cover too. Kirk to Enterprise. That's not what he said. He said Enterprise from Captain Kirk in the scene.
Yeah.
Mitchell and Dana are dead. Beam me up. He didn't say that. Damn it. Don't put
He
that on the
never said
cover.
that.
Spoiler alert.
Enterprise.
Which is why Worf
Captain
makes
Kirk.
the joke in TNG season 6.
Which one? Oh yeah.
He says, "Beam me up."
Beam me up. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true.
That's the nod. That was a nod to the fans in 1992, season 6, episode 3, maybe. I don't know.
Remember this? They got this line wrong too. Remember, we seem to be costumed a little step out of step with the time. A barbaric time in American history, Captain. It was. I can't. It called depression. That's not what the line. I'm going to be difficult to explain in any case, Captain. But anyway, there's the motion
So
picture.
if you have
novel.
these at home and they're in your attic somewhere, folks, just send them to me.
Yes. I think I wore out my motion picture one and it got torn up a little bit. And I was so disappointed that the Wrath of Khan one was in black and white. I had this Battlestar Galactica one too. I wore that sucker out. I still have it.
BSG.
Oh, a little piece of trivia for the Battlestar Galactica photo story.
Yeah.
That's how we found out that the special effects artist hated
right.
Glenn Larson on the planet. Well, as the Cylons are flying over in the lights. If you pause it or if you buy this book, you can see it. It clearly says "fuck off GL." They hated Glenn Larson.
Some thought they tried to make an excuse that they meant George Lucas.
Right. Glenn Larson.
But it was Glenn Larson because they didn't like, but because Lucas was suing them and all that stuff.
Well, Larson treated his people like crap.
Yeah. Have they ever done issues like those ones you're showing on screen, but with stills from TAS? No, I don't think so. But they have done a Star Trek TAS show comic with the crossover with the Transformers. Kal-El.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody,
and that's a great question, by the way, Kal-El.
Somebody on the Star Trek Continues Facebook page, a guy did yesteryear with like photo pastiches from the Star Trek Continues cast in the costumes and everything from that cartoon from yesteryear, from the animated series.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want this photo novel.
Buck Rogers photo novel. Damn.
I loved Buck Rogers when I was young. So
I don't
what
think
is
I had
the
this
set
one
complete? How much does it cost?
There were only like 12 of them. What do you mean, the photo novels? Oh, they ain't cheap.
How much does it cost?
$275.
$275.
$2.75.
Get out of town.
That's what it said it on the cover right there. I had Young Frankenstein. I had Mel Brooks' silent movie.
Holy shit! Look at that. eBay. The whole set. I don't even know what kind of condition they're in. 124 for the whole set.
There was 12
bad,
of them.
I guess, but they're not in great shape either. Look.
There's 12 of them. People who didn't take care of them are not going to leave them in good shape. But
Mm.
I found look at this, $54.99 for 8 of them.
I'm going to look on
I'd
eBay
get a
or
close up look at that.
Amazon.
8 of them. Yeah, there were 12 total, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, there were.
Look, there's one for $4.
Okay,
I don't know the
boss man.
condition.
And boss
None
man,
of
you
them
want me to Star Trek photo novels? Okay, hold on to your shorts.
That
Yeah,
I tell people when they see my Star Trek photo novels, I said, yeah, back in the day, those were our DVDs.
Yeah,
were.
well, I can totally see that. Like,
we had
I feel like
VHS, but-
Claude, you totally understand why I like these things. They're very pop culture. Like they're very fizzy pop, day glow.
And I've never
Fizzy,
seen a
fizzy
Next
pop.
Generation photo novel.
They didn't make any. And I
Right.
tell you what, I remember bringing my, because they're paperback size. I used to bring my motion picture photo novel to school all the time and hide it in my. And look, I think I got caught with it a couple of times.
It doesn't even
I love it.
appear.
Most guys
the
are
collection
reading
doesn't
porn.
even appear in my country through my.
Wow.
Lord. Well, you
Wow.
talking about to purchase or just information about it?
No, to
eBay.
purchase, man. I want to buy it. What's wrong with you?
You mean
I'm
eBay?
gonna, you know what I'm
Oh,
doing
so
right now,
much.
Claude? I'm
So
sending
much
you
is wrong
shin
with
kicks,
me.
one for each leg.
Wow.
There are many things wrong with me, but that's a different show.
Ho, 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 ho.
I think you're.
Oh yeah, the
outstanding. I
McCoy
love your
book.
Look
Go
at
back
these.
up. That was like
What?
the IDW. I don't know. Did John Byrne? John Byrne didn't write that. The McCoy.
Yeah, he did. He did. McCoy, Frontier Doctor.
Yeah,
Where? I don't see
you
it on
just
here.
you rolled up past it. It's
This here? That's
think-
those novels. That's got filth on it.
Ew, my eyes.
You
my
want to see?
eyes.
yeah, but that's
Raquel,
McCoy. That's not.
but that's
what's
some
his name?
filth too. I know it's.
That's not
Raquel,
Carl Urban.
You want to see the first Star Trek novel ever
Yeah.
produced? Right here, Mission to
Yeah.
Horatius. I have a
Uh,
reprint of it. I know a buddy of
I've
ours has
got
the
a-
original. You have the original, don't you?
I have the original, and it's kind of tattered. But I also have a reprint that came out about 20 years
That's
ago.
the one I have.
It's
The
in
reprint.
really good shape.
This was before this was a kid considered like a kid's book, right? I mean, it was a. kind of
I
a-
think it dealt with Nazis on another planet, and they gave Chekhov something called LSD 25.
Well, maybe
So
not. But it was
it's not a kid's book.
But it wasn't in the normal novel line. I mean, because
No.
Spock Must Die is considered the first novel, but that's not the first one. It's the second
It's
one.
not.
This was
I
first.
have a first edition of TMP.
Of the novel? Oh, cool.
Yeah, a
Nice.
hardback with in pristine condition
Gene
with the dust
really wrote
jacket and
that?
everything.
You think Gene really wrote that thing? Some people think
Yes.
Alan Dean Foster did, because Alan Dean
You're
Foster
talking
did work
about
on.
the motion
on
picture.
NIMH.
Alan Dean Foster did write that, and he gladly told anybody that would listen to him. And we were when you met your ex-wife, he was there, and
Yeah, he was in the room.
yeah, and we insulted him, and he left. But he would tell you, yeah, he wrote that.
Well,
I
I
think
don't
he
know
wasn't
if I believe
supposed
that or
to
not.
tell us. Well, you
It goes
calling
to
Alan
the-
Dean Foster a liar? I would, but
No,
I'm not
it's
his
just
friend.
I strongly caution people who have not extensively researched Gene Roddenberry. I just strongly caution them
No.
against being very sure about how very little.
He was listed
writing
as one
he
of the.
did.
He was one of the writers of the story of the movie. Harlan
Mhm.
Ellison was called in, and he did what he could, but he met some kind of executive who he just could not stand. They wanted to. The guy said, "This is according to Harlan Ellison." I was reading von Daniken, and he was talking about the Mayans. You think we could fit some Mayans in here anywhere? And he goes, "What are you talking about, Mayans? We're doing Star Trek."
Well, wait a minute.
Yeah.
The thing is, the motion picture story was taken from In Thy Image, the story that I believe,
Yeah.
obviously, Roddenberry wrote that, but
Yep.
Yes.
I think Alan Dean Foster worked on it with him or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I
He did.
think
He was-
I think so. Like I think he really enjoyed collaborating, but it's very
Right.
important for people to understand that very much the thing with Gene Roddenberry is that he abused illegal drugs and obviously some alcohol in order to produce what he did. Now,
Yeah.
a lot of people make a big deal about that on the internet. Of course, not understanding that there is a great tradition of alcohol and drug abuse among
Artists.
authors.
Yeah.
Pick an author that you think is amazing, and chances are they died from drugs or alcohol. And certainly, Gene Roddenberry was one of those people. He abused his body to in excess of Stephen King levels,
Yeah.
and he paid the price for it. So,
And-
but he also said in his interview with Humanist Magazine, I'm pretty sure, which was only a very short, just a handful of days before he died, that he regretted giving way so much and saying that he was a producer when he was actually writing.
Yeah.
And so it just makes me sad because people look at Gene Roddenberry as though he's this producer, and that he was like a conduit, a facilitator for other writers. And
Yeah.
according to Gene Roddenberry and according to the timetable, if you look at the evidence, that's not quite true. What's really true is when Magel, I don't care what part of the world you're from, Bennett, Roddenberry, when she said, remember him as an author, it's because he was an author.
Yeah.
And he wrote, and like Genesis 2 is so good. Like he wrote a lot of really great and wonderful things. And no one wants to give him credit for it. And so I just don't like that part of the geek culture that wants to rob him, deprive him of something he worked so hard for.
He was, this is not an insult either. He was a Hollywood hack. He was always writing. He wrote so many things. He even wrote a porn called Pretty Maids All in a Row that James Doohan appeared in. It was softcore porn. And I think it was on TBS down here, one of the cable stations. But I wouldn't know if it was cut up or not. But I just remember seeing James Doohan is on this. What is this? Oh, Roddenberry. Roddenberry wrote for pretty much every TV series going on in the 50s and 60s. You remember Have Gun Will Travel, don't you? Clobby.
So he was some of his greatest episodes.
Alias Smith and Jones, the girl in the boxcar.
That was a
Jill's
rework.
here. Jill's here.
Hey
Jill's
Jill,
here.
good to see you there. That was a reworked script from a script he did for the Virginian.
Yep.
Yeah, because he used to have some of the scripts redone for a couple times for some of those westerns as well. But hey Jill, it's good to see you there. Great to see you. But yeah, point being is yes, he was very prolific, and he was his name's on that novel. I don't know why Alan Dean Foster tries to take credit for it. I don't know if he really did it or not, but it's not. I've never heard of Roddenberry to write a novelization of anything, but I can believe it came from his story for sure. So whether the novelization was done by Alan Dean, I don't know. I mean,
yeah, but it's going to sell.
It doesn't say.
His name on it.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, but it's like I said, it's very important. I mean, I think that's why I find so much difficulty in talking with people about Star Trek when you're on the internet, because so many people read Wikipedia, which is user-generated information. So many people read Memory Alpha, which is user-generated information, and factoids become fan facts. And so then you have this fan lore of people who believe these certain things. And it's Eric K's here.
Eric
hey,
K, buddy.
Sweetheart. Mwah, mwah.
No,
and so
right.
Overcoming that, I think, is very important. I'm not trying to say that Alan Dean Foster didn't help him write that. I'm not saying what role he played in it. What I'm saying is that there are a lot of people who are involved with Star Trek. And when you really start to dig down and dig deep and look at hard evidence that is objective hard evidence, you find out a lot of people lie, a lot of people embellish, and a lot of people are stabbing one another in the back. And so, you develop an idea of who's telling the truth. And the thing is Gene Roddenberry never shit-talked. I beg your pardon for using a vulgarity, for using profanity, but I'm going to be frank here. He never shit-talked anyone. And everyone is always trying to compromise his role, his head, his ideas, even though they're using his ideas. And another person who's not full of shit is Nichelle Nichols. And so when the two of them come together and you're listening to what they say, and with the facts, a different story emerges. And I hate being on the internet when people read this stuff on IMDb, this stuff on Memory Alpha, this stuff that they heard at the conventions, and even stuff out of the mouths of the actors. And it's not true.
No, I hear you. I hear you.
Well, if not for Roddenberry, we would not have gotten a third season of Star Trek. He basically fell on his sword on his principles
He did.
because he had a deal and they broke the deal and
Yes.
he walked away from it.
But so did DC Fontana. They had no
Yep.
choice.
Mhm. You know, by the way, along those lines, the Star Wars novel always says George Lucas on it, and I think Don
Yeah.
Left Blood actually wrote that.
Probably.
You know, so yeah, a lot of
Well-
times they just put the name. But in this case, the motion picture story is Gene's story reworked from In Thy Image, which was going to be the first of Phase 2. It is that story, so it's Gene's story, and I just never heard of him to write a novelization of anything, but I can certainly believe him doing it. I can also believe him having Foster do it. I don't know either way; it's believable to me. I just don't know what's
Well, he
which. You
came
know,
from the screenwriting aspect of it, so I can definitely see him working with others to create a novelization or to
Yeah.
create a novel. You know, that's something
Right.
that many people haven't studied writing. They
Mm.
don't realize that every medium and every form of prose is its own discipline. And poetry and prose are distinct disciplines, and there are different types of things that you create, and
Yeah.
and they all call for different talents and different structures and different ways of storytelling. And so I can definitely see him using someone, especially being such a prolific writer, to help facilitate the novel. But I do believe that all of the contents belong to Gene. And Eric Carroll says, it's too bad Roddenberry is no longer around to speak for himself. But you know what, Eric Carroll?
yeah,
I've read quite a bit of Gene Roddenberry, like his interviews and so on and so forth. And I have to tell you, Eric Carroll, I don't think that he would speak for himself. I think all along he had people stabbing him in the back about his Bibles for TOS. He had people stabbing him in the back about Phase 2. He had people stabbing him in the back about TMP. He had people stabbing him in the back for TNG. He had all those people doing that. You know what? He never reacted because he was a
Also-
consummate professional.
He was,
He was
a
a-
Buddhist who
He
did
was a
not
man. He was a
attack
humanist.
anybody.
He, a person who has integrity, a man who would not fling poop at other people. That just wasn't his style. But Eric Carroll, I will turn you toward Humanist Magazine. Please look up 1991. He did it a scant handful of days before he died. He gave a 4-day interview. I believe it's a 4-day interview. And I haven't read it in a very long time. It's about an 80-page manuscript, I believe. You'd need to check that. And it is a full conversation with Gene Roddenberry about his life, about the things he believed, about creating Star Trek, about all the things he wanted to make possible. And he addresses all of the slings and arrows and does not sully himself in the process. He just speaks the truth from his perspective and just tells the truth. And so I definitely encourage you to look for that. It's out there in the universe. I can produce that document for you if you would like it. It's my understanding that a lot of people have difficulty finding that document because it's put up on the internet and then taken down. I have a copy of it, and I sent a copy of it, I believe, to my good friend, Anti-Derivative Jill, who's our communications officer. If you would like to engage with that, I believe, approximately 80-page manuscript, you will learn a lot about the truth, the lies, and the perspectives of Star Trek, and have a new appreciation for the good man that was Gene Roddenberry, who was just a fun, cool cat who has suffered a lot of slings and arrows and has acted pretty darn heroic in response. And that's all I have to say. Sorry.
no problem. Not to be. Look,
You can't say
I'm
enough
saying
good
here.
about Roddenberry because
That's right.
he's the king of them all, y'all.
He was, well, look what he gave us. He's the great bird of the galaxy. Yes, he was human, but there are a lot of people that just love to dump all over him, and not here, though. I mean, I just love the guy.
No.
Eric, Pleasant Valley, good to see you there, buddy. Thanks for popping
Hey,
in, man. Hope you're doing
BC!
well. Well, I hope you're doing well. Am I the only one that loves to look at the covers of old Star Trek novels?
No, I love it too,
This
and I
was
love the way they smell.
This is the first of the pocket books when Spock must die, which is kind of a ripoff of the Enemy Within, wasn't it?
Yeah. Transporter accident, 2 Spocks.
Yeah. But
It had a weird ending though. That
it really did.
they what was it? Koloth and Korax were about to blow up the Enterprise, and they go to press the button, and they get slowed down so much it doesn't affect anybody around them. And at the end of the book, the finger is still going towards the fire button, but I think it was the Organians
Did it.
slowed
Yes.
them down.
So weird, but James Blish
It's not a
wrote the
big book
novel.
either. It's really good. It's quick.
Yeah, it is good. James Blish, or it looks like Bush. It's just right there. Blish wrote the novelizations for all the episodes.
Yep.
And some of those scripts, some of those novels are weird because they were based on earlier scripts or something that they had different stuff in some of them.
They're not all still in print, but they are all still easy to find in used bookstores.
I have a bunch of these books. I mean, even if you didn't like, I'm looking at these covers.
Hungry boy. Them pesky Organians. And Stephen M. Kal-El, sweetheart, I believe that Anti-Derivative Jill, our communications officer, is on the spot. She's on that, and she will produce that URL. If it's been taken down again, please let me know, Kal-El, and I will arrange to have it sent to you. All right, sweetheart?
This was one of my favorite other Trek novels that I had from way back when Perry's Planet, by Jack Haldeman. Sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry. Sorry, Jack.
Joe Haldeman's brother.
Joe Haldeman's brother, who also wrote Trek novel.
Yep.
But this was a really good story. If anybody wants to read an old Trek book during one takes place during the series, back then you had a few comics, but let's face it. I mean, a Trek book was something a little, it was a drop. It was a glass of water in the desert there because you just didn't get that much. I mean,
yeah.
We eventually started
you like
getting.
This one, hey, darling? You like Perry's Planet?
Yes.
All right,
started
let me
getting
just
them,
wait. Let me write this down
once a
before we
month.
go away from it.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead. Well, once a month though. Yeah, but for a while it was.
Yeah, no. Starting out,
right?
it was like, and remember the guy we had a little chat argument with after Enterprise was canceled. He jumped in and said, "Hey, shut up! You're not going to get any. You're not going to get any Star Trek Enterprise novels. Nobody wants to read those." It's like, I think everybody wants to read any kind of Star Trek novels. You liked the Deep Space Nine novels, I think, before you got used to the show.
Who, me?
Yeah, didn't you? You were telling me. You were telling me about some Deep Space Nine novel.
I don't know about that one. Maybe the Peter David one, but I can't remember. I didn't read a lot of those back then, though. I read some of the other Peter David Trek books.
Yeah.
Look at this.
He was good at that. Gene Roddenberry's 1991 Humanist interview. There you go. Oh, okay.
So if this populates,
Nice.
anyone in the chat who has an opportunity to get this, make sure that I believe Jill has the real. I sent her the URL, so she has the real one. There are 2 sources for this, and one continually gets pulled. Do me a favor. When you open it up in your web browser, I want you to look up at whatever your browser is, whether that be Chrome or Safari or whatever you're using. And just go ahead and click File and click Save As or click Print. And when print comes up, I want you to just click on where it says PDF. It will produce a PDF and then save it as a PDF. I will definitely tell you, this article gets taken down continually and only excerpts are offered. So I believe that's the one that I sent Jill. So it's the full manuscript. Download it because once this stuff gets taken away, we don't have access to it. And he says some pretty profound things that go against the filth and the current opinions about him that are complete balderdash. So there it is, folks.
That's some of these Timescape Trek novels, but it's fun to see all these old covers too. Yeah. I never saw this one cover of Perry's Planet right there. There were what 4 of them, I guess. One of them was right around the time TMP, right after Motion Picture came out, I think.
Yeah, Perry's Planet was supposedly the first one with a motion picture uniform on the
Yeah.
cover, even though it didn't take place in that timeline.
Yeah, there you go. Yep. Wow. Sure did. Well, there you go. Anyway, what can I
Well,
tell
I'll be
you?
getting that one.
But I thought it was a pretty good book. It's been a long time. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's absolute
What was
garbage.
the Joe Haldeman book? It had something to do with some kind of a
Planet of Judgment?
Planet of Judgment. It was some kind of a generational thing, and the plot kind of reminded me of that Edgar Rice Burroughs Land at Time Forgot, where the people, the creatures, were evolving while the story is being told.
I remember.
I love this.
Oh, okay. You want? He knows his Edgar Rice Burroughs, that Mr. Minimus. That's for sure. There you go. Planet of Judgment. Look at the little cover.
Yeah.
God, I have this cover. You have that cover?
Yep.
Probably.
That's
Some of them are not as good, but I love those.
You like that one too, hey, hun?
I like that cover the best, that old one there. So it's just kind
There
of
was,
something about that art. Look at the Enterprise, and the other ones, they're just.
Have you
stuff
read
with
that
the-
one, hun?
I'm not.
Oh, Planet of
Not in a
Judgment.
long time, yes, but he
That
has.
was great. I can remember
Was
parts
good?
of it. I would have to go back and reread it to tell you everything that it's about. But there were 2
Don't you
local-
dare! I'll kick you in
Oh.
the shins.
There were 2. Hey, look, I'm just going to go ahead and cut my legs off. Okay, I'll send them to you. There are 2
Well, don't tell
local.
Mark he could do that. Oh, Cardi's
There were
here.
2.
Cardi's here.
Hey, goodness, in. Great name.
Cardinal Sin. Go ahead now. I'll
There were
knock it
2
out.
local ladies. Mike knows who I'm talking about. Sandra
God,
Marshak
yeah.
and Myrna Colbreth, who, if you didn't like their Star Trek books, you didn't like Star Trek. And, it was the kind of crap that we deal with today where if you don't like Star Trek Discovery, don't call yourself a real fan. But the first thing she did in her first book was killed Captain Kirk. And
That's because she was part of that.
she hated Kirk.
She was an idiot. Let me do this real quick. Thank you, Cardinal Sen, for 19.99 super chat. Very generous of you. You're too kind, buddy. I really appreciate that. He said he stopped by to leave a like and a little cash for my favorite dynamic duo, CLOBBERIN Times and Raquel Briggs, the hottest host with always good entertainment and facts. Hail to the mods and the chat.
I'm just here to wipe down the bar.
Yes, we have. We have a third string quarterback playing us tonight. In tonight, batting.
Love you,
clean up.
Gil. Thank you for supporting CLOBBY'S virtual comic book shop. And thank you for supporting this show. We love you and appreciate you very much. It's very generous of you, very kind. And go sub Cardinal Sin.
Thank you so much, buddy. Yes, please go sub to his channel. It's the link in my description below. Now, continue minimusness about. I think you're talking about Planet of Judgment. No, you're talking about. Oh, you're talking about Fate of the Phoenix. Oh my God.
Price of the Phoenix and Fate
Price
of the Phoenix.
Yeah. Oh, geez.
Price of the Phoenix was garbage. We had a local woman whose husband was a professor at LSU, and she had her mother come on a local TV station, and they did an interview, and her mother sounded like she knew more about Star Trek than her daughter. And eventually the 2 women did what 2 women will do occasionally, and she divorced her professor husband and moved away. God only knows where. I think she may have written another Star Trek book, but when I met her, it was sort of like I'm not even a real Star Trek fan because I didn't want to pay $3 for a photo that she took on the TV screen. I bought like 2 or 3 of them from somebody else, but when she had them, it's like, God, I really want some Star Trek stuff, but not from you.
She and her buddy, they were part of that movement that hated Kirk and wanted him killed so the show would be all about Spock. They were that types.
Or she also wanted them to do it.
Well, that too, yeah, but
Yeah.
she didn't like Kirk.
No.
Yep.
Fan
It was
fiction.
KS/fiction. It was garbage. I don't
Fate
know
of the
why.
Phoenix, Price of the Phoenix. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kirk's an invalid little nothing in it. He gets killed eventually. I mean, it's all about
Killed and cloned.
Spock killed and yeah. It sucks. A lot of people think it's so good.
No, it's not.
They did one good story in one of those short stories in one of those Star Trek the Mind Sifter, whatever it was. What was it?
New Voyages.
The New Voyages books.
Yeah.
Those covers are nice.
Yeah.
Those are just fan fiction, though.
I think they did a fan film of that, didn't they?
Yeah, they did a fan film adapting the Mind Sifter.
No.
Hungry Boy is like, love him.
What?
He's
What's
so
that?
much fun to be with. I just love him. Barf.
There you go. These books were pretty good. You ever see these? Again, I like these covers. Well, you can't.
Yeah, I mean, I'll have all of those. Can I have all of those?
I thought you didn't read track novels.
I didn't, not when I was a kid. I just didn't.
You see them now.
There
No,
was
like
a.
now I
Look at
have-
these covers. I love
They're
that
short
art.
stories. They're very easy and quick to read. There's one called "Visit to a Strange Planet," and it's the Enterprise crew beaming down or up somewhere, and when they finally resolve, they're on the set of the TV show Star Trek.
Oh God, yeah, I remember that. But they had these
So
short
where
stories.
should I start, Claude? I'm sorry to interrupt
This-
you, Captain. Where
that's
should
all
I
right.
start?
Trek magazine.
Clobby and Claude. Where should I start? Look, when I was young, I read a lot of classic literature. I studied classics in university. I wasn't really into this. Star Trek was just this TV show, and I loved it very much. But and it's also availability. It wasn't a part of Canadian culture. So
Right.
I'm totally new to this. Where do I start? Where is my starting point?
The novelization of Star Trek and Star Trek 2, 3, 4, 5, and whatever it went up to. One of them was on the cover. It just said "Day of the Dove," but it was just a new cover on one of the James Blish books
Yeah.
that featured "Day of the Dove" in it.
Well, if you want to get, I mean, like I said, I don't know what you can find up there, but I'm sure somehow, some way, some used bookstores must have old Trek novels somewhere.
Oh.
Maybe not up in Canada. I don't know, but
The Star
well,
Trek
I
log.
just typed it into Amazon and not a single used book. Not a
The Star
single
Trek
used
log.
book.
really, you got to come down here if you're going to get those.
Look,
yeah. What?
Raquel, look up Star Trek logs. It's the novelizations
Of
of the
cartoon.
animated series,
That was Foster.
and they were expanded.
That was
Let me go
that
look.
was Alan Dean Foster.
I'm going to look right now, honey. Hold on.
I love just
Yeah.
these old book covers are so fun to look at. Though.
I know,
mean,
they're
Yeah.
gorgeous. I love them.
a lot. They're just. I mean, what was it? We would go to some of these used bookstores and walk out with. Sometimes I wasn't sure if wasn't sure I had the book, and if it were a 50 cents or a buck, I'd buy it anyway.
Yeah.
But these are new, Claude.
What?
What, the
These-
Star Trek logs?
Yeah.
Oh no, Star Trek. I'll show you. Let me find them. Star Trek logs. This is they're adaptations of the animated episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get weird
Whoa.
stuff on my side of the internet that's much different. Oh, that's actually not
There you
a
go.
There they go.
bad wood clock.
Alan
Oh,
Dean
There's
Foster.
it's only
usually-
$80.
Usually two
Logs.
stories
See
in
these?
each
Yeah.
book.
Well, these are the animated episodes, but it's still kind of
Yeah.
cool to have them. Yeah.
You see,
Oh.
log 1 has yesteryear right on the cover.
Pleasant
Yep,
Valley Picker. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking about. I have some friends who have helped me do research and have collected books for me at that beautiful bookstore in Penticton. I think it's the largest used bookstore in Canada. You know, the one in Penticton. If you call them, they'll check for you. So I think I'm going to call tomorrow morning and see if that beautiful Penticton.
When
used-
you call the Penticton bookstore, tell them that Claude said hi, eh? I've never been there. I've been to Mississauga and Windsor and Toronto and Niagara Falls.
Mhm.
I love these covers right here.
Yeah, I love these. I think these are gorge.
Yeah.
Gorge.
Taken from the animation too. After that, though, they stopped doing that. They did, like
they did
those.
these right here. Yeah, with the just background with nothing.
Yeah.
Except the
Yeah,
ship.
what I'm getting on my side is very, very, very different. It's super
Wow.
high tech. It looks super new.
One of the weird ones that I didn't think they could really expand was BIM, by David Gerald. BIM stood for Bug-Eyed Monster.
That is what
But-
them stood for. Yes.
Yeah, but his
Yeah.
name on the show was Ari Ben Bim, and he was an alien who could break up.
Yes.
He offended the planet that they were on, and
Yeah.
it was able to communicate with them.
Yeah.
And he said,
We
"This
reviewed it.
one must disassemble."
Yes.
And she talked
This
him out
one
of it.
must disassemble.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
what Feb,
Was that
that's
was
that
that
message I'm doing, wasn't it?
that was Doohan? Doohan did all the other
Yeah.
men's voices, and Nichelle Nichols and Major
did.
Barrett did all the other women's
Yeah.
voices.
He
Of
did,
course.
but that's actually one of the reasons why he
Well,
got
Takei did
the
some
job
too.
with Star Trek is because
Oh.
he could do so many different voices, and they knew that it was going to be beneficial in the series. So even in TOS, he is often at least 3 times in my mind, in my memory at this present moment, the alien voice from the other side of the computer. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why he got the job. And yes, Bem did have to disassemble because he did
That's-
the wrong thing. He deserved it.
We reviewed it, but now I'm fuzzy, even though I've seen it a million times.
Well,
Yeah, that was it was
he
that was
broke
weird.
up
Debbie
to
Gerald.
he broke up to break out of the cage, but
That's
then
right.
the planet talked him out of breaking up forever because that's the way that
Yeah.
that life form, whatever they were called, that's the way they killed themselves.
Yeah.
Hold on for a minute.
Bam.
And
What is-
Nichelle Nichols was the voice of the planet, I think.
Yeah, she did that a lot. I think maybe Takei did some other voices too, but mostly it was doing
Mm.
doing the voices.
Yeah.
How. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, folks, I'll tell you what. We talked some Star Wars track and some funny books, rather, and
I just
stuff
like to
like
say
that.
it's not here nor there. It's some nice music on all of those shows too. That's why they were able to do soundtracks. And you
Yep.
can go to YouTube and find a compilation of all the Star Trek themes. And believe it or not, animated series is right in there when they put them in line. Star Trek, and then the animated series, and then Next Generation, yada yada yada.
That's a good anime. It's a good theme. That's why.
So do you want to hear the mission briefing for Bem, Clobby?
Sure.
Okay, so this is the official guide. You know how much I love these
That's a good
official
book.
guides that have actually been vetted by publishers and
Mentally
editors.
did.
Okay, I'm going to read extemporaneously. So hold the fruit, okay? Okay?
Holding my fruit, but we won't go into that now.
Complications arise before a dangerous survey assignment begins as the landing party arrives in the transporter room to discover Bem at the controls. No one had seen or heard from the alien during the Enterprise's first 6 missions with him on board, but he has chosen now to join them, much to Kirk's chagrin. After transporting to the planet, Kirk and Spock materialize above water as it seems Bem set the coordinates incorrectly. Or did he? Jumping into the water with the officers, Bem separates his lower torso and uses tentacles from his bottom half to replace their communicators and phasers with fakes. It's a fake! No, I'm kidding. Later on, when Bem senses life forms ahead, he rushes off, leaving the landing party behind. Finally catching up to Bem, Kirk, and Spock find him in the middle of an Aboriginal food gathering party. Bem is now on the menu. Beef's back on the menu, boys.
Yikes.
Kirk and Spock attempt to contact the Enterprise to free Bem, but obviously cannot. Plan B is to release him the old-fashioned way, but the pair is captured by the Aboriginals in the breakout attempt. After Bem mocks the duo for their reliance on technology, he separates his body parts to escape his cage and return their devices. Spock is fascinated. When isn't Spock fascinated? Now, with a working communicator,
Picard.
Kirk is still unable to contact the ship and attempts to sneak them all out of the camp. It doesn't work. As Kirk and Spock draw their phasers, they are stopped by an unknown force. Upset, the landing party is on the planet with her children. Bem finds Kirk and Spock lacking in their abilities and decides to leave the pair behind as he separates once again, this time to escape confinement. Kirk is able to contact the entity, who agrees to release them and allows contact with the Enterprise. But there is still the Bem situation to deal with. Red shirts arrive to launch a search party and respond to an attack by the natives. This makes the entity unhappy, but Kirk is able to explain why they remained and she agrees he makes sense. Crestfallen, Bem states he must disassemble and cease to exist due to his errors. Clobby does a great impression of that.
Of who?
You do.
Of
Bem.
what?
You did it. Just right.
Oh, that one.
The
I can't think of anything to say other than I'm Bam. I can't do it right now because
This one must disassemble.
disassemble.
That's the line.
That's right.
The entity
I
tells
would
Bem he only made a mistake and to use this as a learning experience. Back on board the Enterprise, Spock muses that the entity is like God, while Kirk notes that in comparison, they are all still children.
Hey, see, you sounded that was a good in the shell there. So
Yeah.
well done.
And Kirk later went on a date with her.
He means the God, not in the shell.
Can't believe
Yes.
I'm dating a planet.
Yeah, but if you're doing Shatner, if you're gonna do Shatner from the animated series, it's more like I'm in a bathroom. We're doing this recording, and I'm really excited about it.
On a tape recorder. That's why my voice sounds so tinny as compared to Leonard Nimoy, who actually showed up at the recording studio.
Yes, because they would phone in their lines.
Oh,
They did that often to save money. Claude, you were grappling around trying to remember the entity's name. I'm going to say it the English way, and then I'm going to say it the proper way, because you don't say Delta Theta. It's Delta Theta. 3, and that is the name of the entity. And the planet, Pandor, is located in the Garo 7 system. Dun, 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 dun.
And how awkward must William Shatner have felt talking into his computer on his communicator, going,
Kirk to entity. Kirk to entity.
I wonder if he ever slipped up.
Oops. Probably did. I'm doing the voice for a cartoon. It's better than a margarine commercial.
You guys made me take 2 comics down and a Star Trek at TIS encyclopedia. You made me take 3 books out. I love you guys.
We apologize for making you do things.
I don't want any more cracks about the book. Well, ladies and gerbils.
Put your hands over your head.
Put your hands under your head. If
you ain't going to have no head to put your hands over.
I still say under because that's Bim holding his head. Get it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the hell? That's about as funny as you being a non-funny person.
Eric Carroll, I need to qualify right now. I am not drinking a Guinness out of the can. I just did that because I would never drink a Guinness out of a can.
I would never drink a Guinness. Good Lord, woman.
Come on, I'm Irish. Stop it, or I'm going to send you shin kicks. Okay, so Eric Carroll, just so you know, I am holding the can of Guinness, but I am actually not drinking out of the can of Guinness. I would never do that. That is blasphemy. I am wearing my Starfleet Academy hoodie, my official Starfleet Academy hoodie, because I did go to Starfleet Academy.
She did.
And I am wearing a Mardi Gras shamrocks, Mardi Gras beads, but they're shamrocks. And I'm wearing my shamrock hat.
Did you have a shamrock shake?
No.
The shake machine was broken.
Yeah, the shake machine was broken. So I went to Arby's and I got their mint chocolate chip.
I like a shamrock shake. They used to be good at McDonald's. I'm probably no good anymore. They're not made from actual shamrocks, you know.
No.
There's a video of a guy behind somebody at McDonald's, and he says he just wants a vanilla shake, and the girl says, shake machine is broken. He said, well, the guy in front of me just got a shake. She said, I don't know what to tell you. The shake machine is broken. And I found out why they say that, because when they run out of that stuff, they have to clean it out first before they put any more stuff in, and they hate cleaning it out. And nobody there has been trained on how to clean the stupid shake machine out.
Yeah. The Comic Relief Crusader. Yes, my eyes are green. As a matter of fact, my eyes are so green that every eye doctor always tells me that, wow, you have really unusual color eyes. I've never seen eyes that color before.
What, green?
Yeah. Well, no,
Green.
just the particular
Green
shape
eyes. Are you sure your
green.
circuits are registering correctly? Your ears are green.
A girl with green eyes. Are you know how rare that is, Mr. Button?
Okay, J-Man, hurry up and finish.
What? Who? Oh yeah. Oh, we can't talk like 7 with J-Man. J-Man's got to finish it up. Mark's behind too, but he's not here right now. But still, so we'll get there. But well, everyone, we're gonna start wrapping it up because it has been well. I mean, we love hanging with you and everything like that, but I'm sure you all have places to be on this fine St. Patrick's Day after, because it's not that day anymore for some.
We're wrapping.
I hope you all got green today. I watched some Incredible Hulk episodes this morning. I know that, so I did my green duty. Sub the BritBox. I have anti-derivative Jill. All right, nice.
And I'm currently watching UFO, which is UFO anti-derivative Jill.
Oh, cool.
Please
Is that
watch
on BritBox?
UFO with me.
I know it's on YouTube. Is that on BritBox?
No, I'm just
YouTube?
just letting her know what I'm watching right now. I
know, so-
finished the
what is it?
fabulous Blake 7, and I'm now watching UFO. UFO.
On BritBox or on YouTube? Is that
I'm
where can
watching
you watch
it
that?
on Fire TV, and I
Okay.
believe it may be through Amazon Prime in Canada. And
Okay.
oh my gosh,
It's a cool
it is-
show.
I love UFO so much. It's such a good show.
Cool
They
show.
were kind of in the same universe as Space 1999.
Kinda.
Well, they were the
But-
prequel to Space 1999,
Yeah.
and
Weren't
they were the prequel. Jerry Anderson.
That's right, yeah.
That was like his. It was
Then
like
you
the
liked
Indian
it,
puppets and that, then Space 1999, which I love. But I do have to tell you, I do love UFO or UFO. They say UFO on the show. I
Yeah.
do love UFO a little bit more than Space 1999, which is saying something because
Okay.
like I will dance on the bed when Space 1999 comes on. I will literally get up on top of the bed.
Yeah. I was going to ask you, which theme song do you prefer? UFO or Space 1999?
First season.
No, I mean of Space 1999 or UFO.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I think UFO.
think-
That's just me.
Space 1999, but I don't know. Let's see. I'm trying to let me see if I can think of the UFO again. Let's see.
Bum, 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 bum.
I mean, they're both delicious.
Ba-da-da-da.
I
Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
just watched the recent. Yeah, I want that car.
Yeah.
Yes, I love the
Striker's car.
car.
I think Elon
Striker's
Musk
car
just
is
made one.
fantastic. Yeah, Striker's
Oh,
car is badass.
hungry boy. I 100%. That is definitely on deck for my cosplay. Now that we're back in society, my cosplay list is growing exponentially. I am 100% doing UFO sexy fashions. I'd like to do them all. I want to start with the moon base girls. I want to wear the purple
Oh,
wig.
wow.
I want to have the whole experience. I'm going to start with the really, really super short dress. And then I'm going to do the tight suit, the cat suit, and
Nice.
very excited.
Nice. Cool stuff. Well, I need to start watching that again. Probably UFO. Well, I actually watched the first one a couple weeks ago. It was on, just saw it pop up on YouTube, and saw it pop up there. So there you go.
Yeah, like if you just watch something that will make you happy, that will make you feel good, like warm and fuzzy inside. That's really intelligent, where you actually feel a sense of danger and you're invested in each and every character, and you don't want anything bad to happen to them, and you actually feel like something bad could happen to them, but everything's okay in the end, then you have to watch UFO. You have to watch UFO. It is such a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful show. I don't even know how to explain it. It's almost like watching... Oh, Clobby, Claude, what's it like watching? It's like...
Well, it's not like watching Space 1999 because that show's scary.
Space 1999 is totally different. I don't know how to
More like
explain
Doctor
it.
Who, I think, in a way, or something like that. Really, kind of.
Yeah.
As far as it's upbeat, but it's, I mean, like the Invaders, sort of. But it's got they've got, it's hard to explain because they've got a, they're fighting the aliens.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's difficult to explain. Galactica, maybe like the Galactica TV show, the old one. Remember that?
Yes. Yeah, it's like that.
It's Buck Rogers,
It's a very smart show. And it is incredibly diverse. Like the diversity on the show is unbelievable.
Yeah, Man
There's-
from Uncle Summer as well. Yeah.
Yeah, there's this amazing woman named Nina who's on the show, and I don't want to give out any spoilers, but I think the episode is called Subshock or Subsync or something like that, and it is absolutely terrible, and it it was so enjoyable to watch, but I was honestly scared because I absolutely love the Nina character. She is sexy. Like she is like a 10 out of 10 sexy woman. And she gets herself into a position, literally and figuratively, where she has to be launched out of a torpedo tube in order to save her life because their submarine is damaged. And I'm not going to say what happens, but I do have to tell you that it has been a long time, a very long time, not since like Star Trek. When I originally watched Star Trek when I was a kid, did I feel this good about a show? Like just a
Nice.
show that makes me feel good and that I just genuinely enjoy watching. It's definitely UFO. And it's so smart. The show is so smart. You have to watch it.
I need to go back and watch it then. It's been forever since, I mean, four freaking ever. Like I said, I watched the first episode just a couple of months back. It happened to pop up on my YouTube feed, and I watched it. I was going to watch the first couple of minutes because I wanted to watch the opening, and then watching the whole episode. So I think I'm going to go back and because there's not many of them, I guess, and they're probably all on YouTube. I don't know.
It's got okay, I think I know what I want to say.
Or it might be on
everyone.
Tubi. I don't know.
Imagine if you were watching really early James Bond with my James Bond, Sean Connery, the only James Bond. I know I'm going to get shin kicks from Clobby on that, but
no, I love him.
I
I love Sean Connery.
imagine you're watching the original James Bond and you mix it with Star Trek and a little bit of the original Doctor Who. You put all those things together, that's what UFO feels like.
Man from Uncle is something that Hunger Boy also mentioned Man from Uncle feel. Yeah, that was similar to it, even more so than Bond because it's a little more out there. But yeah, the look. I need to go. I think you got me pumped up to go back and watch those. So.
It was so nice, Hungry Boy, to see men in Cuban heels again and in a proper suit. Like, I love seeing men in a Cuban heel or a proper cowboy boot. For me, that's very manly. But like I said, I grew up with Clint Eastwood, right? And
Tyrell's here. Look at that.
I love that. Oh, Tyrell, nice to see
Tyrell,
you.
he says, I've got the ITV Blu-ray set of UFO from UK and absolutely love it. There you go.
Yeah,
Cool.
it's so, I just love it so much. And the men look so good. The men style their hair, and the men don't look like the men look today. Like once the billionaires took over the world and it was all about vanity metrics. It was a race to look like you just fell out of bed and you wear your pajamas to work. And UFO, it brings back that sexy feeling like you're in Cuba and all the men are in a three-piece suit and they all have on a sexy hat and they have a beautiful cigar and you know they're sipping a great drink and the women are sexy and the men are sexy and everyone looks so good. Hungry Boy, I totally agree. That's one of the reasons why I love it.
One of the stars, I don't know how many episodes she was on, but one of the stars of UFO was Benedict Cumberbatch's mom, Wanda
That's
Bethel.
right. There she is right there. Yes, it's this show on this show, men were real men. Women were real women. And small furry creatures from Alpha Centauri were real small furry creatures from Alpha Centauri. Okay, I stole from Hitchhiker's Guide for that one.
I love you. I love you.
Here's someone's not seen the show, so there's some pictures right there. The deep UFO.
Oh, so and I want a shadow pin.
I love these
so
ships.
bad. I'm
Those
looking
ships are
all over
fantastic.
the shadow pin.
Those ships are great. But
Look at Lieutenant. What's her name? Lieutenant. Oh, what's her name? Damn it.
That one with the normal hair, the ones with the purple hair.
The Moonbase girls. The one with the purple hair. Lieutenant.
That's a moon. Oh yeah. I don't know the names. You know.
What's her name? Oh, I forget. Anyway, she's gorgeous, and just the way that she displays the suit. So the legs come off of that sort of
those outfits.
Yeah. So I'm very excited. The arms come off of it as well. So the arms come off, the legs come off, and then you put on an A-line skirt. And I can't wait to do it. I can't wait to do it.
Look at that outfit. Oh,
Yeah, but you're not even showing the best sexy one. Show the
Hoba,
sexy
hoba.
ones.
Well, you have to be more specific. You know,
Keep
that's
scrolling.
That's sexy.
Yeah, but they have like even sexier ones. Keep scrolling. Yeah, see the girls.
You'll have to say
flying.
when.
Keep
the girl.
scrolling. I was looking at images of it last night. Oh, there's some girls.
Ladies.
Yeah, so there she
Oh,
is.
this is from the first episode, I
showing
think.
how to convert the outfit. And so I want to do this one. I would like to do the full outfit. I already have the boots. So
Sorry.
yeah. But I'm gonna wear my thigh-high boots with these ones with this skirt.
Now you got the songs going. I actually love this chick right here. I don't even know who she is, but I love her.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely madly in love with her all of a sudden.
I like the brown girl. The girl, I think she's of Indian heritage. She usually guards the door right from his secret lair.
Oh my!
Oh, there she is.
The chick with
the girl on the far left.
Oh, I got you. Yeah.
She has a beautiful body in real life. You should see her on film. She is gorgeous.
The lady in the purple, not purple hair, but the purple outfit, that's Benedict Cumberbatch's mom.
Wanda
Well,
Vincent.
she's actually pretty. He's not pretty.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, nobody likes him. We
He looks like a goldfish.
he probably looks more like his dad. His dad was also an actor, and
Was his dad a goldfish?
Yeah, his dad was a goldfish. He was actually a babelfish.
She's like the British Aaron Gray.
He got in there, and he didn't translate very well. So
The loving throat.
Oh dear,
So yes, so that's the show.
Here, stick this fish in your ear. What? I barely know him.
It's only a little one.
It's funny because the UFOs make the same continuous sound as like ORAC makes. It's almost like a similar sound. It's like a constant sound where you know it's coming. So I miss ORAC, and now the aliens are making that sound, which I love.
There's the car. That car is
Love that
freaking
car.
fantastic, man. Look at this damn car, boys.
Green Boy says Cumberbatch looks like a confused otter.
There was actually
a
side-by-side comparison of Benedict Cumberbatch and an otter.
Yeah.
Could have been related.
Yeah, totally.
Wanda
or a
crossed
goldfish
with an otter.
Right.
Let's Google goldfish. You're gonna be like,
Look
look,
at this car.
And
Benedict.
he was on the Graham Norton show, and he could not pronounce the word penguin.
Why?
He
I don't know.
he did one of those naturalist shows, and he's not. Who's the big guy that does that over there?
What?
The naturalist shows. No.
What now?
I don't know if he's the brother of the guy who was a star of Jurassic Park. What was that guy's name?
What are you talking about?
He was doing Benedict Cumberbatch was doing a naturalist show. He was narrating it, and he got to the word penguins, and he couldn't say it. And they kept playing it. Every time he would say penguins in the show, he would say penguins.
Yeah, well, you can't count on the British. Like I always say to the British people that are on Clubby's show, I love teasing them. Great fun because Canadians have one foot in the UK and
look
one
at that
foot
toy.
in America.
Oh, good.
So we always tease them. So whenever Clubby has his British friends on, I always say, I love the British, except for the fact that they give up on a word halfway through.
Yeah.
Like Emma is Emmer.
Yeah.
Idea is idea.
No,
say the word.
There's an old saying that America and England are two countries separated by a common language.
Yes, and that language is found in Canada.
that car, man. Oh, good Lord, it's just incredible.
So can you do me a favor, honey? Up in the Google search, can you type UFO?
Ooh, look at that. Well, that's Raquel's
and
car.
Can
right
you type moon base girls?
What now?
Gabrielle Drake.
Just UFO moon base girls.
Okay.
Gabrielle Drake. Is that who you're talking about?
The
purple-haired girl, right?
Girls. Yeah. I
Girls.
just want to show
I
Clubby some
probably
of the
just
pictures I was
could
looking
have
at
put
last
girls,
night.
but you have to put Jerry Anderson there. There'll be 50 billion other things in your search.
Yeah. Oh, so there's one of my inspired shots. Clubby, where it says women of
What?
sci-fi fantasy, Pinterest right directly in the middle.
Oh yeah.
Lieutenant-
No,
No,
Lieutenant
the
Ellis.
one to the left of that.
Damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it.
I can't. Oh, there. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's one up in the far left hand side now.
Sorry.
It's okay, babes. It's the full body one.
This one.
So when I'm doing research,
This one
on
here.
the- no, up at the top it says women of sci-fi Pinterest.com. And, yeah. So if you can make that big, and it's Joan Harrington.
It could make something.
And Nina Berry. Okay, so Nina Berry is amazing. Absolutely amazing. It looks like her last name is Mantez. I believe that, she's Spanish, but I also believe she's African American. Absolutely
Let me get to it.
Gorgeous woman.
And how about that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that
You
bigger?
just did the da-na-na-na. I love
Wah,
that.
wah, 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 wah. There we go. Now
Okay,
you got me
so
thinking
this
about
is how I will base the outfit. And I have a couple of close-ups of the
Jesus
Shadow
H.
Man pouch pack
my.
that goes with it. So I'll be gunning for this, but everyone needs to know this is a very difficult cosplay because the legs unzip from the, for lack of a better word, gimp suit. So the legs unzip from that, and the arms unzip from it as well. So all that remains is it's almost like a Dan skin underneath, and then basically the gimp outfit.
This reminds me, I must put the turkey in the oven in the morning.
So this is my inspiration, and I want to get to this very soon. I have a few cosplays on the shelf right now, but it's going to be cosplay time soon, so it's time to get her done. I want to do Catwoman.
We all do.
Don't we all do?
We're
Somebody
not.
had to say it. Don't we all? Oh, sorry.
I'm definitely going to do the Catwoman, but I'm going to do the Michelle Pfeiffer version.
Oh.
And I definitely want to do Nina Berry or Joan Harrington. I want to do Lieutenant Harrington or Lieutenant Berry. I'm super excited about it.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
What's wrong with Lieutenant Ellis?
Yeah. Yeah. Hello there again, Tom. Yeah, we were just about to run out, and then Raquel got started on her new show.
She was
Sorry.
sidetracked.
Our old show she's watching, and we're looking at some future RM Briggs cosplay right there.
Yes, this is future cosplay. We're talking about planning cosplay, and this is the new one.
Was Ed Bishop British? Because
No.
he played Ed
he wasn't.
Stryker, but
Ed
he
Stryker.
No,
he was on a lot of stuff.
He has an American accent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's quite good. I really enjoy him. I think he's absolutely wonderful. He's like a cross between a mad scientist, and like the original James Bond. If James Bond, my Sean Connery James Bond had a baby with a mad scientist.
Don't say that didn't happen.
Oh yes, exactly.
Well, James
Out
Bond.
come Straker. Straker is such a great character.
Born in Brooklyn, New York. Oh, okay.
Huh?
He was born in Brooklyn, New York. I'm looking him up on IMDb.
Oh,
He's
wow.
wonderful. Do you know that he ruined his hair because he originally didn't wear a wig on the show? He bleached it out and gave himself that pixie cut.
Yeah.
Because of course Jerry and Sylvia were very specific. Like Sylvia designed all of the costumes, all of the wardrobe, and Jerry and Sylvia they're known for having a very specific vision, and so he went all in on it. He looked wonderful, but I think it did significant damage to his hair because I think I'm 9 or 10 episodes in, and he's now wearing a wig. The wig is good, but as a cosplayer, I can tell it's a wig. But it's not like a normie could tell it's a wig.
Oh. Yeah, he was on 2001: A Space Odyssey also.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I want that car. And
It's beautiful. Please
and I want
watch
you to have-
UFO.
And I want you to have this car, Raquel.
Oh, yes. Oh, and a clubby on last night's final episode before I went to sleep. I think it was either episode 9 or episode 10. They had this cute little pocket British car, and this sexy girl wearing like a scary short skirt. And when I say scary short, you have to know it's scary short because I have no qualms with nudity whatsoever, and I also don't have any hangups about clothes. But this one, you barely couldn't sit down. Like you would need to be worried about sitting down in a public space. And she gets out of this car, and it's like this teeny tiny little British car, and the headlights come up on it, and it's like an orangey red, and it was a little rag top. I don't think it was a Triumph. I'm not sure what it was, but just watching her zoom around, and so good.
Nice.
So good.
Gotta love it.
Yeah, Scary Short is the Brazilian Hungry Boy. Hungry Boy knows his knows women. That is exactly what Scary Short is. Scary Short is you definitely need to request the Brazilian.
Oh my goodness! Well, thank you all for being here with us tonight. It has been fantastic. Just we had nothing at all, zero planned, and yet we were we talked for over 3 hours, and really enjoyed. Zax, what's up, you Hulk villain? Good to see you there. Good to see you there, Zax.
Hey, Zax. Yeah.
Want to thank you all for hanging out with us. So many, I don't have all the names written down, so just
you know who you are.
You do know who you are. I know who you are anyway. Quick show note. Saturday night Star Trek. Same time, same Trek channel. We're back as always, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. And some more episodes, 4 more episodes from season 6. So can't wait. What a great time that always is. Just cannot wait. And let's see. Any of you got to for any closing words before we run?
Yeah, before we run, I just want to, because I can't tell on this side of StreamYard, especially because I have the free version. I don't know who wrenched tonight, so I just want to thank all of our wrenches. Especially, I want to shout out to Chris Persia, who I just absolutely love you. Thank you, Chris, and Eric K. I love you, Eric K.
Chris Persia.
Thanks, babe. You guys are just the best. You guys know how much I love you and appreciate you. Thank you very much. I just want to say thank you to everyone in the chat for lively, brilliant, hysterical, engrossing conversation. You guys are just the best community ever. And I just want to thank Claude. You already know that I love you. I think you're just so smart and funny and great to be around. So thank you for joining us on the panel tonight. You are outstanding. And I just want to thank Clobby. Clobby, I love you, and thank you for creating this space where geeks and nerds converge to talk about all of the wonderful things that scare the crap out of normies. I love you all, and I'll see you Saturday night.
Any closing words, Ben A. Fishow?
Well, I had a plan tonight that I hope is going to work out fine. I'm probably going to fall asleep at about 1:30. I'll wake up again at 2 to go to the bathroom, and after about 10 minutes of that, I'll probably go back to bed, try to go back to sleep, maybe nod off at about 3, and about 3:45, I'll wake up again to go to the bathroom, and then who knows what happens after that. I may sleep until about 6 or 8 in the morning. That's the big plan.
Well, I'm glad everyone knows that now, that we'll sleep
Well,
better.
contact me tomorrow to see how it worked out.
I'll be sending everyone a DM with his phone number, everyone.
Don't do.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you to my wonderful first officer. And I would thank whoever this other person is in here, but I've never met him. I've never met a Ben A. Fishow or a Butch Deadlift or a Punch Rock Groin or a
Blast Hard Cheese.
Blast Hard Cheese.
He has a pitched boob avatar.
Yeah,
like, look at you. It looks like
Buff Drink Lots.
Pierced boob.
Buff Drink Lots. Minimus Prime.
I
would thank you, but that would mean that I cared. You all know that
I know you don't. You don't even pretend to care anymore, do you?
No, that's not true. I pretend to care all the time.
Oh, okay, just not with me.
That sounded bad. Whoops. Love you all, my great friends out in the chat. Thank you all so much. And hey, until next time, the secret is to bang the rocks together, guys. Yeah, and of course, clobber on, clobberers. But before please watch this wonderful message because I want you to know about the great works of fiction of my amazing first officer. Good night, everybody.